Spring just hits different. One day, cold mud. The next, warm sunshine. But the hard-working men and women in Carhartt don't wait for the forecast to get to work. Patching roads, clearing trails, planting crops. Their hands turn this season's uncertainty into possibility. So get out there, spring into action. We've got you covered for whatever the season throws your way. Carhartt, made possible.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to Crime Besties. We are here for episode 69.
69, Peter's favourite.
I have to tell this story about when Oliver was in grade 2, or grade 1 it might have even been. His teacher came out to me after school one day and she's like, oh, can I have a quick word with you?
Which is never a good thing.
Oh, and you're always like, oh, God, what's happened now?
Jesus.
And she's like, I just wanted to just let you know that whenever I ask for a number in class, like if we're putting maths equations on the board, Oliver always says 69. And she goes, I asked him about it today. And he said, oh, it's because it's my dad's favourite number. And then
That teacher tells this story more often even than you do.
And I was like, oh God, yeah, he's 40, but he's, you know,
But he is 12.
12. Yeah, he's got the mentality of a 12-year-old schoolboy. And then she's like, and he also told me that it was the last digits of his phone number. And I'm like, well, that's actually true. And I'm sure he chose that phone number
When he was 18.
when he was 18 or whatever, because it had that number at the end. So I'm like, I came home. I was like, I mean, it was very funny, and she was quite tongue in cheek about it. Obviously, it was a bit of a laugh. But I came home and I was like furious with Peter. I'm like, he's bloody I don't know, how old are you in grade 1? I don't know, 7, 8?
7, 8, yeah.
Something
7.
like that, 7. I'm like, for God's sake, what have you taught our children?
I love it because like Ollie has no idea why that's Dad's favourite number.
That's right. Just knows that it is. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Oh,
so
God.
anyway, welcome to episode 69.
Yeah.
And today we're discussing the case of Amy Lynn Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is quite a convoluted one.
Oh, it is so much.
Yeah, so much.
Yes.
Before we get into today's case, though, I think there's a couple of updates that I just wanted to have a quick chat about that have happened literally this week.
Oh, I've not caught up on any news this week, so I'm here for it.
Here for it. Okay, so first thing, on Wednesday this week, so we're recording this on the 7th, so this happened on the 5th of November, 2025. The Easy Street committal hearing of Perry Carumbalis started. And his defence barrister is Dermot Dan as well.
He's busy man
He's
at the moment.
busy bloke.
Oh, God, yeah.
And basically in the committal, they're just deciding whether or not there's enough evidence to take Perry to trial because he's saying that, so Dermot Dan on his behalf has said that he will be pleading not guilty to murder and that he wants the rape charge dismissed. So watch this space. I mean, there's a lot that's been said in the last 2 days. So it was heard on Wednesday and Thursday, and I believe there are 3 more days scheduled in the future to finish hearing it before the justice can then have some time to go back and consider whether or not this is something that will proceed to trial. So watch this space. We'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah. Oh, I just feel for their families. It's been so long already. And now, like, oh, God, if he did it, it just shits me that he's maybe going to drag this out and potentially.
Well, he's already 77 or something like that, you know.
You've
He's
had
lived
many
his whole
years of
life.
freedom.
Yeah.
Like, well, if he did this,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck. What a piece of shit.
But I know it's allegedly.
Yeah. All very alleged at the
Yeah.
moment. Mm-hmm. And then the other update is yesterday, none other than, this is just such timing. We've done it again. Tony Mockbell walked free from court yesterday because the charges on the drug charge that we talked about in last week's episode with Nicola Gobbo, that big drug charge that he was convicted for, they slashed the sentence to time already served. And the reasoning for that was it was his first conviction over drugs, believe it or not.
Which seems crazy.
Ridiculous.
But
it was.
It was.
The fact that Nicola Gobbo was involved and like also he sustained a head injury while he was in prison, so he got some time off for that as well. So,
yeah.
Interesting.
I find really interesting too, like there was a comment that when we were at that
True crime night.
Yep. Recently about the fact that a local tavern had been investigated by because their amount of money going through their pokies had like tripled recently, and they were like, what's going on here? Like, doing a bit of money laundering, are we? Like, and we're very much looked into. And it turned out when they spoke to the venue, they said, oh no, we've just got a new patron because he's out and
of
about
prison at the minute.
And so Tony Monkbell's been spending time at the pokies.
It was to the tune of something like 300 grand or something. Like it was a huge
it was something like
amount
an
of money.
extra 80 grand a week
A
or
week,
something.
yeah.
That accumulated over a few weeks. That they were like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Pokies, no one wins on a pokey.
No.
They are made for you to lose.
That's it.
Maybe someone wins some money, but
the
is probably
people
how
who
much
own
money
the
you put in them.
establishment. That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So they're the two big updates in cases that we've covered, already. So interesting. Very, very interesting. Watch this space. What do you think will come of the Perry Carumbulis?
Oh, I'm nervous of that because it was so long ago to have the evidence that they need to get him, so far down the track. Witnesses, it's going to be tough.
They called some witnesses to the committal hearing. So
Yeah.
the journalist who lived next door,
Yeah.
she testified, as did her housemate, and they spoke about their story. Iona Stevens, I think her name was.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was her roommate, her housemate. Basically, her testimony the other day was exactly that of her statement however many years ago.
It has to be really.
But
because
Iona's wasn't.
I know, and that's the thing that gets me, because that's where they're going to get undone.
Yes.
Because Dermot Dan's going to jump on that and go, what, you're saying your memory now is better than it was back
and
then?
that's kind of what she was saying in this committal when she was...
don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't like it.
Makes me feel nervous.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll watch this space and go from there.
Yeah.
We do have a few other shout outs today. So
Excellent.
we have a couple of new Patreons. So we've got Naomi and then Relax Your Head.
I love that you read it like that.
From the UK, we think.
Yeah.
We think. So thank you, guys. It really, really, truly means a lot to us. And then we had this beautiful Instagram DM from one of our very loyal listeners. I see her name come up all the time. Soph Victory.
Yes.
And she said she was really proud of us for reaching 200,000 listens. And it really warmed me.
Yeah,
It just made me
so
feel like,
good.
oh, that's so nice. And sort of acknowledging the fact that, we really put ourselves out there to start this and to see it really starting to gain some momentum. Yeah, I think we should be proud of ourselves.
Absolutely. No, and I love that others feel the same way.
Yes. Yes. So thanks, guys.
Thank you,
And
Soph.
then we also had Thermi_Farmer leave us another really nice DM. So thank you, everybody. As I said, even if you can share our podcast with one other person, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much to all those people.
That's it.
Because our TikTok's died.
Yeah, what's with that?
So I think Instagram's
weird.
our new little haven.
Yeah.
So we'll grow that up a little bit more. Because we've still got the amount of followers we've got on TikTok's amazing, but the views and stuff is just
really low.
it's
We
so
don't get
bad.
it. I mean,
I've
we're
not changed anything.
Nah.
So it's clearly TikTok that have changed things.
Yeah, but we're not like that good at that stuff.
No, I
like
don't
as
really
in
get
like
it.
we don't how the algorithm works or how to manipulate the algorithm.
I've tried a few things that I'm like, I think we meant to do this stuff, but it's none of the old stuff's working. So
yeah, okay. Well, you're doing great. You're doing absolutely great.
You too.
Thanks.
You're great.
No, you're great.
Oh, you are.
Let's get into today's case.
Let's do that.
All right. So today, as I said at the start of the episode, we are talking about Amy Lynn Bradley. Now, I'm sure a lot of listeners, especially if you're listening to our podcast, you've probably watched or at least heard about the documentary that's currently on Netflix called Amy Bradley is Missing. I think that gives a perspective, and I think it gives some of the story, and I found it interesting to watch and seeing the actual people involved in this.
Yep.
But I think by no means does it tell a complete and full story. So
no, there's definitely some holes and some interesting perspectives that they give.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. So we'll try and keep things like pretty factual to start with and just go through that, and then we can talk to what we actually think. Although I'm super keen to hear what you think.
I'm really keen to hear what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really, really want to hear what you've got to say about it.
Yeah, cool. Same.
Unsolved ones always
Yeah.
bring this,
Such
interesting.
an element of doubt.
Yeah.
So Amy Lynn Bradley was born on the 12th of May in 1974 in Petersburg, Virginia, to Ivor and Ron Bradley. They were both insurance executives working at the same company. And a couple of years, or a bit over 2 years later, her younger brother, Brad Bradley, was born.
We just talk about that for a
Yeah,
second?
let's do it.
Who does that to their
so
child?
my dad went to school with a boy named Evan Evans.
Well, okay. You like the name Evan. You've already given it to them. Why give it to them
Kate
twice?
Langbrook's eldest son, his name is Lewis.
She did do that, didn't she? Now you say that. Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Why would, it's like basically saying, we got it right with our surname. We can't think of anything else.
We don't need to put any effort into it.
Yeah, why? I loved, found it really hard coming up with names for my kids. There's plenty of names I didn't want to have.
Yeah, as a teacher, I bet that would have been really hard.
There was a long list of no's.
Yes, yeah.
Unusually, most of them started with a J.
Yeah, classic.
So it was like, you want to find the right name for them. Why do you need to always take one that you've got? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just don't get it.
I don't either. And do you think his name was actually Bradley and he just goes by Brad?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I couldn't find anything to
it seems to be Brad everywhere.
Yeah, it's Brad everywhere.
Brad Bradley. Oh,
Brad Bradley.
People, please. I mean, Amy, it's not hard.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. There's a million names out there you could go with with Bradley.
Yeah. Totally. Anyway.
Okay, I'll move on.
Can we though? Can we?
I can't in my internal side, okay?
We know it.
Yeah.
We know it. Mm-hmm. So they moved into Chesterfield County in Virginia when the kids were quite young, bought a family home there and really established really firm connections to the community there. Mm-hmm. The kids both attended L.C. Bird High School, and then during high school, Amy was incredibly athletic. I think any sport she tried her hand at, she was proficient at. And she particularly excelled at basketball and swimming. So she was a swim teacher and a swim coach through the high school, and she was also a lifesaver at the local pool to earn a bit of extra money. Mm-hmm. And I think Brad might have even done the same.
All right.
When she went to Longwood University with a full scholarship in basketball, and she was actually the first student to attain a full athletic scholarship to that university.
Oh, wow.
So there were academic scholarships beforehand.
Yeah.
It was the first time they'd had a sports scholarship. Okay. She studied sports psychology, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't seem to go into that afterwards. So.
Well, we're going to have to come to all this. So I think she was looking at doing a master's after she finished university and worked for a few years. But we can get to all of that. In fact, I can't wait to talk to you about all that a bit later. So this was in December of 1996 that she graduated, and she actually ended up having a couple of years of just working. I think she was doing some sports coaching and that kind of thing, and then, coming up to the point where they were going on this cruise, she'd been able to get herself an apartment. So she'd saved up enough money that she was able to put I believe her parents may have assisted greatly in terms of the purchase of this apartment.
Right. Oh, so she wasn't renting, she was purchased. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't read that.
And
okay.
I believe she wasn't the only, it wasn't all her money, maybe, and purchased that apartment very close to her family's home. So they all lived in a very, very small it's still in the same county.
Yep.
In Virginia.
Yeah.
And
because she was only working at a steakhouse.
Yes.
So I don't know that you know.
I think she was working at a steakhouse at night and then during the day coaching kids.
So she wasn't earning enough money to get a house deposit sort of stuff.
And I don't believe it was full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was about to start a new job when she got back from the trip. She'd arranged
That's right.
Which sounded like more of a, I don't know,
it was
full-time role, that sort of stuff at a computer company.
Yes, that her uncle owned.
Oh.
So again, we will get to this a bit later on because I find that a very interesting detail as well.
Yeah.
So, I guess Ivor and Ron, look, the way that they are portrayed in a lot of things that I have watched and listened to is that they were an incredibly close family. You see all of them, so Ivor, Ron, and Bradley. Should we just call him Brad Bradley?
Brad Bradley, the entire time. I'm sorry, that's all he can be known as. Yep.
Are interviewed in the Netflix documentary, and then you can find countless interviews with them because they have gone to the nth degree in getting Amy's story out there over the years. And so, look, I look at Ivor's face in the interview in the Netflix documentary, and I just want to cry.
Oh.
My heart breaks because what they say is that they were such a close-knit family. Brad and Amy were best friends. Yep. They looked out for one another. They were so close.
Well, he was even dating at this time. He was dating a girl who was actually Amy's friend. So the three of them then sort of became a bit of a three. Not I want to use the word threesome because that sounds really weird. But they palled around together, the three of them, that sort of stuff. So they were very tight, as siblings.
Yeah. But had really good social lives and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as a family unit of four, they were very, very close and did a lot of things together, did everything together.
Yeah.
And you look at that from the outside and you think, oh my God, how idyllic, how lovely. And Brad Bradley even says in a lot of the interviews that he's we were the family that people envied. We were the family that people wanted to be a part of or to have a family just like.
Yeah.
And, he said that their childhood growing up, there was nothing that happened no tragedy, no trauma, it was just so normal and great and happy and all of those things.
Yeah.
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 So we come to the time now where Ivor and Ron are working for an insurance company, and this is back in the day where bonuses would be amazing. And instead of getting a financial bonus, I guess, this company had incentives, and it was a holiday every year. And Ivor and Ron had qualified before. They'd met sales targets that meant that they were able to go on other trips with this insurance company. But this particular year in 1998, they were gifted a 7-day cruise to the Caribbean.
Which one do you use?
Caribbean, I think, because that's what we say here.
Yes.
But everything you hear is Caribbean. So in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-day cruise aboard the Rhapsody of the Seas.
All expenses paid. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were flying from Virginia down to Puerto Rico, San Juan, where the ship was taking off from. What's the word? Departing from? I don't know. And there's so much cruise terminology. Did you find that looking at this?
Yes, definitely. That I had to go.
And I'm hold on, wait, what? Oh, they mean the boat's going.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So any cruisy people, we're really sorry. Our terminology may be a bit
you
off.
either are or you aren't, like a cruise person or,
Yeah, I think that's very, very true.
Yeah.
And anyway, so when they were gifted this, it was just originally for Ivor and Ron to go for them as a couple. But they then asked whether they could bring along Brad Bradley and Amy,
who were 21 and 23 at the time.
Do you think that's odd?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm just double checking.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I think the way Brad Bradley describes it is that for them, they thought maybe this was the last of their family holidays because Amy was, she was embarking on a new career. What was seen to be a new career with a full-time job. She had just moved out of home. She was getting her own dog. There was lots of things that were happening that was sort of meant she was like naturally, as everyone does, pulling away from the family and establishing her own adult life. Right? So I think it took a bit of convincing.
Well, I think it would too when I see the cabin.
Oh my God, yes.
That's what I kind of went, no, I'd be out.
And the brother and sister. Anyway, we'll talk about that in one sec.
Yeah.
But basically, Ron and Ivor asked their boss, could we bring our kids along? And
they're not kids. They're
Sorry,
they're adults.
And the boss said, yep, absolutely. Because to be honest, it wouldn't have cost them that much more to shove two more bodies in that tiny little
literally
room.
what they, yeah.
So anyway, because of the way this came about, they both departed Virginia. The four of them departed Virginia on the same day, but not on the same flight. So Ron and Ivor went first, and then I think about an hour later was Amy and Brad Bradley's flight.
Right.
But Brad Bradley says that Amy was quite apprehensive. Neither he nor her liked to fly.
They don't like to fly. They don't like shit, and Amy doesn't like heights, and
Yeah, so they were both very nervous about this. And
originally, because Amy was very apprehensive to even go for that reason. Like, it was, I don't really like flying. I don't really want to go.
Yeah, but then also, according to all members of her family, she hated being in open water. Yeah. So, although she was a very proficient swimmer, she did not like swimming in the ocean. Well, give her a pool any day.
That's the thing. I'll come back to it. Ocean swimming is incredibly different to pool swimming.
Absolutely. But even she just didn't like what was potentially in the water. The thought of
sharks and it's even like to the point of like personally, I'm an ocean swimmer. I love the ocean.
Me too.
I hate rivers.
Oh, no, I won't go in a river.
I won't go in a river.
Oh, same.
No. So I think people who just go, but she's a swimmer.
Yeah. It's different.
There's differences and there's things that people don't feel comfortable with. Yeah. And I can completely get it that she was not fond of open water.
Yeah. There's even a story that they tell about on this particular trip. Like this is going ahead just a little bit, but it's pertinent to what we're talking about now. They went to a beach and this was in Aruba where the water is crystal clear, right?
Yeah.
Apparently she walked into the ocean to knee height and then jumped on her dad's back because she was like, I can't go anymore. I just don't want to be in here anymore. Yeah. So it's not about swimming necessarily in that respect either. She just didn't like being in the ocean.
No. Whereas I'd be like, get me there now.
Same. I will be in that water all day.
Oh, jumping off the boat. And loving it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's basically what happened. They stayed the night when they arrived in San Juan and the next morning boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas.
So that was on the Saturday, March 21st in 1998.
Yeah. So the Rhapsody of the Seas is at the time, I think it was the second biggest cruise liner in existence at the time. I don't know.
2,000 plus passengers and was it 800 crew?
800 crew.
It's a massive amount of people the boat is huge, but I mean, they're also like sardines a little bit in terms of the space you do get in your cabins. I mean, I've not cruised much. I've been on a couple of little mini overnight, like really not multiple days even, and it's not my thing.
No. After, I think I've probably mentioned it in the podcast, I went on a couple of night cruise earlier this year, and at the end of it I think I even said to you, I'm like, I don't think it's for me.
No. My parents love cruising.
Yeah,
I've got friends who really love it.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just can't. I think of anything worse personally. But
Yeah.
that's just me. And I love the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't get to be in the ocean
No,
when you're on these
this
giant cruise liners
thing-
necessarily. I mean, if you're going around the Caribbean, yes. One of the cruises, Peter and I did a cruise on our honeymoon around the Caribbean. So
Right.
all of the places that they talk about here, we've been to.
Wow, yeah.
And it is what you think it is. It is white sandy beaches. It is crystal clear, warm water. It's just absolutely delightful heaven. But then they're all set up for cruise ships. These places are set up for cruise ships to come into,
Right.
to spend the day, for people to spend the day. And I think what you don't see is the stuff that happens behind that strip of, of shops and
Yes.
colour and fun and all of that, because people don't venture beyond that.
No.
So, it's set up for a certain purpose and
Yep.
yeah.
And there's the show and then there's the reality. I think that's really what you sort of,
Absolutely.
Yep.
So they have boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas, and there's a photo of the four of them on the gangway on the way in. Have you seen that photo?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
What do you think of their expressions in that photo? Did it stand out to you at all? Anything?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a hindsight thing or not.
Yeah.
Knowing
now what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think?
I just feel like, and I actually feel like maybe this is just Amy. Might be just her, but I don't feel like, you can smile with your lips, but not with your eyes.
Yes, yes.
That's the vibe I get from a lot of the photos I see.
You get a
her.
vibe of
Do
her
you-
of
do
like,
you feel like
I don't
that?
really want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
when
mum
they
and dad,
Oh.
delighted.
very, very, very happy, and even Brad Bradley even is like quite, eager and excited looking kind of thing. But I don't know. I do sort of think with Amy, like there's something.
But is it like, and then I don't know, are we looking at it through a lens of, we're looking for something? I don't know.
God, I don't like a photo. Photos and like, oh God, I look like a bitch. So like it's just maybe she doesn't photograph
And that's what I was
well.
thinking, because I'm like, or maybe like, how, and Peter is like this actually. He's like, I don't know how to smile in a photo. Like when it's a posed photo, like what do I do?
Where do my arms
is this
go?
a nice smile? Like, so maybe she was just awkward having a camera pointed at her face.
Yeah.
So just quickly, before they boarded the boat, the ship, Amy bought some postcards in Puerto Rico, sent them back to her friends with messages like, hey, we're here, we're about to board, we're so excited, I'll see you in a week.
Yeah.
And she also bought, I think it was like 12 rolls of camera film, because she was a bit of an amateur photographer and thought she'd be able to capture some really beautiful photos.
She wanted to
on
like
this
put together like a coffee book for her new house that she was, going to be putting together, moving into a new house. And so she was like, I'll have a coffee book table,
coffee table book.
Oh my God. That she can put on there to like, be like, it was our holiday, which I think that's a lovely idea. And I think she'd also entered a photography competition too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, back in the days when you had to buy rolls of film to do that.
And then have them develop before you knew if they were any good.
Oh yeah. You get that film and go, fingers crossed with my thumb over the
Yeah, everything's a bit overexposed or underexposed or whatever.
Eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh God.
Yeah. So anyway, they've boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas, and the first 2 nights were actually at sea. So they pushed off from port and spent 2 days just on the ship. And they, by all accounts, they made the most of those 2 days and took part in all of the activities that were offered on the ship.
Dude, that's part of the stuff that I just literally cannot stand.
To me too. I hear about this and I'm like, I would rather be in my room watching a movie.
Yep.
Or at
Cocktail
the bar.
at the bar.
Yeah. At the bar or at the poolside maybe. Reading a book.
Yeah.
That'd be me, Gus.
I mean, the, themed nights and shit, you can shove it where the sun's shine.
You hate to dress up.
I cannot stand to dress up.
Yeah.
No, not my thing at all. Even just like the formal night. Like my favorite thing I've ever been told on holidays, right, was when we were shown to our room in this very nice place when I was overseas. And I said to them, they were like, the restaurants and things were a bit further over from where our cabin was. You had to walk a fair distance. And you could get little like buggy things and that. And I said, oh, like, you need to wear shoes all the time when you're in the buggy and stuff. And he's like, your holiday, you don't wear shoes if you don't want to wear shoes. I went, well, no, when we get to the restaurant or whatever, it's your holiday. I went, what? And he goes, no, like, whatever. I was like, it was a fancy place. I was like, this is the kind of fancy I like, that I rule. Like,
Yeah.
I do what I want to do.
Could you go to a restaurant without shoes on?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, because he said I could. I loved it. Because I fucking hate shoes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So as opposed to a dress up, you prefer a dress down.
Oh, trackies, thongs.
Yeah. Whatever. Whatever goes.
He was your holiday.
Well, yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm making the most of
Yep.
this. Sure.
Yep. He goes, you wear whatever you want. And
Yeah.
the person I was with at the time went, what, do I have to wear a shirt? And he's like, no, your holiday. He's like, yeah.
Okay.
Best ever.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, yeah, I don't want your formal night.
Yeah.
I just want to be on holiday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's comfort and relaxing.
Yeah.
It's time to throw your lash curler away. Seriously, Lancome's new Curl Goddess Mascara keeps your lashes curled and volumized. From the pre-game to the after party, this fast-setting curl and volume mascara gives you up to 30 hours of wear with no way down. You know what? Curls really do have more fun. Shop Lancome Curl Goddess Mascara now on Amazon.
I just got up there and I was just like, oh my God, thank you.
And then I heard, someone, anyone, please help.
So he's like Superman being able to carry me off the mountain.
The award-winning Tell Me What Happened podcast from OnStar is back. New emergencies, new heroes. Find out what happens in season 6 of Tell Me What Happened. Out now.
Look, Amy and Brad Bradley had actually taken, advantage of a lot of the offerings to the younger crowd. Although
Not that there wasn't much of a younger crowd.
I was going to say that,
yeah.
although there weren't many of them, it did mean that they met most of the other young people on board.
Exactly. It was kind of like beacons of light to each other of like, where are my people?
Oh, you're under the age of 50. I'll go and strike up a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And according to family and even people from the cruise, Amy was really friendly.
Yeah.
She would go up and talk to people and make friends and certainly wasn't one to sort of shy away from social interaction.
As they say, unfortunately, people who light up a room, good things don't come to those people, do they?
Yeah.
Everyone always says there's people who disappear or whatever get murdered, then, she lit up a room. So I will never light up a room, okay?
I think that's just something people say.
I know, but I think they genuinely meant it about her. Like, she sounded like she was someone who, and again, I have to say, just because someone does that in person doesn't mean there's a whole lot of stuff underneath. So I don't think we can take for granted that everything was fine because she could walk into a room and be overly social. That doesn't mean that's who you are at your core. But yes, according to everyone, she was someone who would arrive at a party and be center of attention at the party and and everyone else would have fun being with her.
Yeah. So on this particular night, so this was are we at the 23rd now?
Yes.
Yep. So the 23rd of March.
Yeah.
In 1998. It was the formal night.
Yeah.
So during that day, very early that morning when they woke up, they had already docked overnight in Aruba.
Yeah.
And the 4 of them got off the ship and they didn't actually have anything planned. On cruises you can book shore excursions and stuff like that. They hadn't done anything for Aruba in particular. So they ended up renting a car, and I think it's like one of those like a Jeep type thing that didn't have a roof or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they were just driving around Aruba. Now, we're talking pre-mobile phones or pre-satellite navigation on your mobile phones.
Yeah.
And they were driving around. They got themselves lost in basically in the desert of Aruba.
Yeah.
And anyway, eventually found their way to the beach, which is where I was telling you about how Amy hopped on her dad's back because she didn't want to go in the water there.
Yeah.
And anyway, apparently they got back to the ship at whatever time, and they were all exhausted and probably had heat stroke, to be honest with you, because they were roasting in the sun all day.
Oh, yeah, apparently Brad Bradley said he was so sunburnt. Yeah.
And so they went back to their rooms, had a bit of a disco nap at, I think he said this was about 4:00, and then it came time eventually for them to get ready for the formal night, which was happening that night. Meg's worst nightmare. So the Bradley's cabin, I'll just give you a bit of a rundown. So you and I both actually found the same. We were talking about this just before we hit record. We actually found the same infographic about it.
I'll put it up on our socials.
Yeah, please do, because it is like quite intimate.
Like
for 4 adults.
So as I said, my parents really like cruising, and they often will tell me about their room, like when they go, and I can't. Like, they're always so small. Like, you've got, I know my mum's always talked about, you shuffle along the side of the bed, like, like get out to like the bit where you can walk around the bed then. And, there's never a hell of a lot of room in these things. So then you've got 4 people in one of these rooms.
And 4 adults.
4 adults.
Not
even
even
like
people. Where would they, like, I don't even know where their luggage would have gone. So basically you walk into the door, in through the door, swipe card access to the door. They all had their own key cards.
So that tracked you going in, obviously, but obviously not coming out.
Yeah,
so,
and it didn't track like even when the door was opened or anything like that from the inside. It just was when a key card hit it to open it.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side, there was a bathroom, and then there was a bed, and then a pull-out couch that Amy and Brad Bradley were sleeping on.
Oh, kill me now.
Tiny.
No.
Literally inches from the pull-out bed was the door to the very small balcony that had a tiny little, I'm going to call it like a little coffee table or side table, and then 2 upright chairs.
Yeah,
on the balcony.
Oh, so upright chairs.
They were upright chairs. I don't know if they could then be. Because how sometimes they have the things on them and you can lean them back.
Because the documentary infers it's more of a lounge chair, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does.
And I did question that in many places where I was reading things, kind of going, is it or isn't it?
So I haven't seen photos of the chair, but I did look into this because I thought the same thing. Like, was it a lounge chair? But there wouldn't have been space to have 2 lounge chairs on that balcony.
I felt like the space didn't accommodate it. But then a lot of places refer to it being a lounge there. And I'm like, I just don't buy it.
I don't believe so.
No.
I'm not saying that the back of the chairs couldn't recline, but they weren't like full sun lounges, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that gives the layout of the room. They're getting ready for their formal night now. And it's formal. Brad Bradley is wearing a tuxedo.
Yes. Yeah.
Black bow tie. They have the ship's photographer.
Well, because back in the 90s, right, and even early 2000s, this really goes to, really, that anywhere you went touristy, I remember going through New York was bad for it. Everywhere we went there. Any like tourist place you'd go, before you entered into the actual place you were going, you'd have to get a photo taken, and then They try and flog it to you at the end. I mean, the amount of times I got to the point where, because I don't like a photo of myself at the best of times, and I couldn't give a shit about having a photo with a fucking, digitally enhanced like image at the back of you, like kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that I'd be like, can we go around? Like, let's just go. I'm not going to buy it. So and we'd avoid the the lineup of that area because these places that's how they make money. Like, and on a cruise ship, they've got the market cornered that they'll try anything like get money out of you. That there'd be photographer taking the photo that then, and after the fact you go and you find your photo and you purchase it. Oh, kill me now.
Oh, fuck, I know. Amy was wearing a really beautiful black, like very simple but lovely, elegant black dress.
Yeah.
And so this is the other thing for people who don't know on cruises. Well, I think there's different dining options, but I think because Ivor and Ron were there with other people from the insurance agency who also won the same thing, and the president of the company and his wife.
Yes.
They would all dine together at the same time at the same table every day. And therefore they had the same waiter, the same busboy, the same, the same people were serving them every day. So they've gone to their dinner that night, had a really good time. There was a joke around the table. So there was an incident, not an incident. There was during the day, this particular day, it must have been when they'd come back from being out and about in Aruba. a couple of the waiters were looking for Amy, and they found Amy's dad. And they said to him, "Oh, where's Amy? Where's Amy? We want to invite her to a club tonight."
Like at in Aruba.
In Aruba.
So yeah, off the ship. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, and the dad was like, "Oh, I don't know if Amy will really want to do that, but yeah, I'll let her know."
I think it was a note they handed him.
Yeah.
And to give to Amy to invite her to this club.
Oh, it's Carlos and Charlie. Sorry. I knew I had it written down somewhere. I'm like scrapping through my notes. Yeah. Carlos and Charlie's. Now, this is the same bar that Natalie Holloway disappeared from in 2005.
Yeah.
So we'll do a case on Natalie Holloway at some point.
Yes, but there's this case sort of...
It just kind of gives you a bit of an idea of maybe it wasn't like the nicest of places.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, Amy...
It could have been like the place to go to.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
might have been.
Doesn't mean they're the nicest places, that, you know.
No, that's
necessarily,
true. Yeah,
but
that's true. And Amy basically says, "Oh, look, I'm not to her dad. I'm not really interested. They're a bit sleazy."
Yeah.
And now, should we talk about Amy's past relationships at this point? Do you think?
Well, yeah, there's a bit around that. So yeah.
So Amy had come out to her parents and Brad Bradley.
1995.
Yes, it was 3-ish years before the cruise.
Yeah.
And so it came out as being gay. And the family, they're a very Catholic family, especially Ivor. And they didn't really take it all that well.
No. They sort of say, you know, "Oh, no, like, you know, of course we love her," and, you know, and all these sorts of things. But you can sense a real... Ron's words were around it was like, "We didn't want that for her, but we love Amy."
Yeah.
Like, so I think there was a very much like they just didn't really know what to do with that information, I feel.
They said they were not happy and they were disappointed, but it's Amy's life. It wasn't what we would choose for her, but it's her life and we loved her unconditionally.
Yeah.
But then Ron also sent a 3-page letter
yes.
to Amy's current girlfriend at that time.
Yeah.
That basically outlined his disgust in the fact that they were in a relationship and how he thought that this girl had corrupted Amy.
I feel interesting how he can do that and say that to her, to the girlfriend, but I feel like that's stuff he wanted to say to Amy, you know.
Did he?
Hey?
Did he?
I don't think he did. I think he said it to the girlfriend,
right?
To, you know, so that he didn't have to say it to Amy because I love Amy, so Amy's okay, but it's all this girlfriend's fault and putting it over there,
right?
It made it less, you know, that's not my daughter that's created this or whatever, or, you know, I
but
think
she'd had several girlfriends before she came, as in before she came out to
absolutely.
Her parents.
Yeah.
So it wasn't her first relationship with a woman.
And even the woman who, you know, received that letter has spoken, and she's on the documentary as well.
Yeah.
But she has said that Amy was the one who was keen to come out to her parents, and I don't know that she had actually come out to her family yet.
Okay.
So she was a little bit more, you know, like because it was in the 90s and it wasn't as accepted as it is now to be able to do that.
It's hard to imagine that would be such a thing, or that, I mean, I know to this day
people
families
struggle
have this reaction.
Absolutely, but it's, I guess, thankfully it's less. I would hope so.
I would hope so.
I hope we get to a day where people don't
have to come out. Exactly. It's ridiculous that's even a thing.
Like, exactly. So, I mean, I was say my boys can bring home whoever they bring home and meet the family if they've found someone they love. Like, that's great.
Right.
They love that person.
Yep.
So I found that really interesting that he really did let loose in that letter, that very lengthy letter. And I wonder whether that's really what he wanted to say to Amy.
Yeah, I feel like he downplays that letter in the
big time
in the documentary though. And I just question whether also things were said to Amy about it.
Yeah. She definitely would have had an opinion of it, like, you know, and known about it.
The opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, they're at this formal night, and you know these waiters had seen the dad earlier in the day.
Should we go? Sorry, go back to that. Sorry. So yeah, she's come out as gay.
Yep.
However, there is a boyfriend that's has come out in public now. He was apparently interviewed for the documentary, and they chose not to use the footage that they had for that, which I find interesting.
Odd. Yeah.
And why they did that. So this is where I think it gets a little bit murky in terms of like, whether she was bisexual or whether it was a relationship that she felt was being forced upon her. Not forced upon her sounds really awful, but I guess sort of to keep her,
like to meet
keep her
an
parents,
expectation or something.
Yeah, or was she actually genuinely lesbian and but wanting to keep the family happy that I'm seeing a guy. Like, so I don't know. We don't know whether she's truly bisexual because she did have a girlfriend that she was seeing that they'd had a rough time. Mm-hmm. She had not cheated, but she had kissed another girl and they were having some issues, but they were really trying to work that out. And the plan was that when she was coming back she'd given this girl a letter and it was quite an interesting wording in this letter. And I find the language in it interesting that we can come back to. That they were the plan was that they were going to get back together when they came back from the trip. Yeah. However, it's come out now that the whole time that was going on, she had a boyfriend. I find that all very weird.
It's odd. It's very odd.
Yeah. And I don't, there's certain people who are like, really like, oh, see, like, she wasn't lesbian. She was bisexual at best, but she liked men. Do we really, does that matter?
It actually matter? I look.
And I feel for her because I think that there's something in this that seems.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. All right. So she's received these unwanted advances, I guess, from these waiters who had been looking after them for the first couple of days of the cruise. And even on the night of the formal night, the family and the people they were dining with were joking that if anyone needed anything, just get Amy to ask because it'll come quicker and you'll probably get more of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because she's certainly garnered the attention of people on the ship on the ship. Not
to say, that she didn't deserve the attention, but that we did say there's not many young people on the ship. So, I mean, if there's someone who's more the age of the waiters, the waiting staff and other people who work on as crew on the ship, they're like, well, yeah, we've got one that's like, maybe possibly within our age bracket rather than, there's 70-year-olds and stuff that they're keen to hang out with. Yeah. I'm not shocked at that at all. And I think, and she's an attractive girl and
that's right.
Why not? They were interested. I get it. But at the same time, if advances weren't wanted, she certainly had her boundary and put it up.
Yeah.
So,
as she should.
All good.
Did all the right things.
Yeah.
So, when the formal dinner kind of finished, after that there was a party on the pool deck.
Yes.
And it was called like Under the Stars or something like this.
See?
Party Under the Stars. Like fucking worst nightmare.
Oh, they played Limbo.
at around this point, I think Bradley and Ron went back to the room to start changing. And I think Amy and her mum went up to the photo to find the photos of them.
Yeah.
And they went up and the photographer, so this was the ship's photographer, said, oh, yeah, I remember taking the photos of you because there'd been an interaction where the photographer had taken a photo of Bradley, taken an individual photo of Amy, and then said, oh, let's have one with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, no, he's my little brother.
The photo does look quite...
Oh, it looks like they could be a couple for sure. They're holding hands and like facing each other. It's not like a sibling photo. I'd be putting my finger up at my brother.
Absolutely. Fucking touch me.
Formal wear notwithstanding. Like, yeah. So anyway, that Mum... Ivor and Amy have gone up to find the photos, and as I said, the photographer was like, yeah, I remember taking the photos of you. I've just developed them. They're here somewhere. And they go to where the photos were laid out, and the photos of Amy and of the rest of the family were all missing. And he's like, that's weird, because he remembered printing them out. He remembered laying them out, and now they're not there. Like within half an hour or something. Like it wasn't a huge amount of time.
I don't know how much I'd buy that.
Yep. Oh, this is their story, right?
That's the parents' story. Story. That is not. They haven't no one's spoken to the photographer who has said that's what I said to the family.
No,
because if you think about it, it's 2,000 plus guests on this ship.
Can I just say though, Ivor has the receipt where she asked for the photos to be reprinted.
Yeah. I'm not saying she couldn't find them and that they weren't there. Right. I just question whether like there's validity to like. Had they been printed already or had they not? Or had they been taken by someone else? Like, really, did the person at the shop there like go, oh, I don't know. I just think there's 2,000 people on that ship.
Yep.
And photos of, 90% of them, and that they're dealing with, are you going to remember putting those specific photos on the shelf and being like, oh, they were there a second ago? Like, I don't know how much I buy into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sort of a bit like, be plonking them out on that shelf and not really paying attention. You've been seen 2,000 last week when they had another 2,000 on the ship. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But this photographer had not long taken the photos of them.
Yeah. But still, it's a lot of photos.
Yeah. But it wouldn't have been 2,000 people in one go.
No.
They all have different seatings
times
and stuff.
But they would have done all those seatings probably by then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's that whole thing is a bit sus. And the fact that she's got Iva to this day has the receipt that says that the photos had to be reprinted. I think that gives a bit more weight to it. We can discuss this later when we talk about our theories. Yeah. So, all right. They've then gone back down to their cabin to get changed for the changed out of their formal gear and into more casual stuff so they can go to the party under the stars, aka Meg's worst nightmare. Yeah. And so they're in the, even just how would you get changed in a room with 4 adults, and the bathroom is so
the showering,
small.
the getting changed, all of it. I'm in this tiny little room, let alone the fucking snoring.
You'd have to take some really heavy duty earplugs.
The eventual outcome of this night, in terms of where they all end up sleeping kind of stuff, I kind of go, yeah, I get it.
Me too.
Oh, kill me.
Me too. Yep. So, all right. Now, they all go up, the 4 of them, go up, get changed. They go up to this party under the stars. I think by this stage it was about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And what they notice is that there were a lot more people at this party who they assumed had boarded from Aruba.
Yes.
So they weren't passengers.
There was a band that they had brought on specifically.
A Calypso band.
Yeah, but then there seemed to be
Orchid.
just other locals who'd come on the ship as well. Yeah.
We're not quite sure what for. But there were certainly, I think some people said there were it was almost 90 people.
Yeah. And who were just coming on to enjoy the show, kind of stuff. They weren't there with the crew, with the band necessarily. No. It was just, they were locals.
Can you imagine that they would just let people on the ship without...
I can back in the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
Pre-9/11, pre all that stuff. There's no way it would happen now.
Yeah.
But I can see that happening.
Yeah, okay.
When I think about travel back in those days.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about it from a 2025 lens, not a 1998 lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, the Calypso band Blue Orchid are playing and having a really good time. Everyone's having a dance and, having some drinks and, having a party. And there's video of this party and people are doing the conga. It is very, very lively. Yeah. There's a limbo competition. Who wins the limbo competition, Meg?
Brad Bradley.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, man.
How embarrassing. Imagine that being your legacy of the cruise. Oh, I won the limbo competition.
Oh, no. And he got a crown?
Because you were the youngest person there by far. No one else's knees would be able to do that.
The only one who was limber.
Yeah. So good on you, Brad. Brad Bradley. That is one to take. Anyway, he got this gross crown.
Yeah.
Wearing it, gave it to Amy to wear for a little bit. And then what he noticed over, the other side of the party is that Amy was actually talking to 2 women. So 2 women who had not been on board beforehand. They presumably come on board with this group of people from Aruba. Who knows? We don't know.
No.
But there were 2 black women. They were both dressed identically. So they had these navy blue skirts and light blue short-sleeved button-up shirts.
So in a uniform?
Yes. So they don't know, I've heard speculation that it could have been were they police officers? Were they that people don't know. No. They weren't descript. I think if you're a police officer somewhere, your uniform would say police.
Yeah.
But
even in, whatever language.
Even in Aruba.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, and apparently the conversation between Amy and these 2 women was really jovial. They were laughing and having a good time. But she talked to them for over an hour.
Yeah.
And then Ivor and Ron decided, oh, fuck this shit, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm really tired. And the Calypso band had finished playing at this point. I think they finished playing just after midnight.
Yes.
And Ivor and Ron walked over to Amy, who was talking to these women. And then they say, as soon as they walked over to Amy to let her know that they were going back to the room, the women kind of shut down, stepped away, and didn't say a word. And they just thought that was a bit odd. And anyway, but didn't really think that much more of it. They've gone back to their room and gone to bed. Brad Bradley and Amy continue the night. There's a nightclub on the ship that's on the top level, I believe. And it's called like the Viking Club or something like that.
Yeah, the Viking Club. Yeah.
And
should we just say, sorry, like at that 1 o'clock time too?
Sorry, yep.
When the parents went off to bed, the ship also departs Aruba. So anyone who was on the ship from Aruba would have exited at that point. Should have, whatever. Yeah. So there was like a midnight buffet that sort of people went to from that party. And then, about 1 a.m., the ship departed Aruba to head toward Curacao.
The other thing that I think is probably worth noting as well is that all crew had to be back in there, unless they were working, had to be back in their crew quarters by 1 a.m. as well. That was mandated by the ship.
Yeah.
So I'm talking the Calypso band and all of that. So
yep.
They finished playing at 12 o'clock. They've then got about an hour to go and have a drink, do what they wanted to do before the curfew sort of was implicated.
Oh, you mean the Blue Orchid?
Blue Orchid. That's what I meant. What did I say?
The Calypso band, because they would have exited the boat.
Okay. I thought they were the same thing.
No, sorry. No, so the Calypso group who'd come on from Aruba.
Oh, okay.
But the ship's band was the Blue Orchid.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. I got myself mixed up.
Yeah.
They've gone, so everyone's kind of then departed from this deck into the Viking where...
It's a 24-hour nightclub, isn't it?
No, it closed at 3 a.m. I've seen it written everywhere that it was a 24-hour nightclub. But somewhere else I saw that it closed at 3 o'clock.
Must reopen pretty early in the morning, though.
Or maybe it is 24-hour and just people left at 3 o'clock.
Multiple places it was 24 hours.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But then I think Brad Bradley says that it closed at 3.
I've heard him say it in an interview that it was a 24-hour.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
I've heard something that wasn't quite right. I mean, 24-hour nightclub? Is that what we need?
Well, there's one in Melbourne. I've been there a few times.
At 3:30 in the morning? Well, that's the only time you'd go to a 24-hour nightclub.
Oh, no. There are people there in the middle of the afternoon,
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what they also... Sorry, just going back, before they go to the nightclub... Amy is also seen talking to a member of the Blue Orchid band called Alistair Douglas. He went by the nickname Yellow because apparently at some point he had yellow hair.
Yeah.
Okay. They were seen chatting after the set and then they've all gone up to the Viking. Amy orders a beer there. We know that for sure because she ordered it on her card, a light beer. She was, according to, where did I write this quote? There's a quote about that Brad Bradley says, she was a Miller Lite and Marlboro Lights kind of a gal.
Okay. He did say that she could hold her drink more than he could, but wouldn't consider them drinkers.
Yeah.
They're not heavy drinkers, but she could definitely drink a few more than he could. But
if you're ordering light
beers, I mean, this is it. You could probably drink them most of the night and not really get too...
Yeah. So now we're at the Viking Club and they're all having a bit of a dance.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with just 30 calories and no artificial sweeteners. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
With Sam's Club, you have the freedom to shop your own way. Curbside pickup, delivered to your doorstep, come in and grab it yourself. Yes, yes, yes. They've got plenty of options. Your call. Say yes to shopping the way you want. Join now at samsclub.com/yes and. You must be 18 years or older to purchase a membership, and membership is subject to qualifications. Visit samsclub.com/yes and for details.
The other thing we haven't mentioned yet as well is that there was actually another film crew on the ship at the time.
Yeah.
And they were a private film crew that were hired by another company who was there on an incentive trip for their employees. And this private film crew were hired to take footage of the employees and then put together a video presentation at the end of the cruise to show everyone how much of a great time everyone had and, I guess make the most of this.
Yeah.
So this private crew were going around filming random bits and pieces throughout the entire 7-day period and going back, editing things in their room and whatever. And so they were actually at the Viking Club that night or that very early morning, and they caught footage of Amy on the dance floor dancing with Yellow.
Yeah.
And they're having a good old boogie. I mean, if Amy had never gone missing, we would never have had to have seen that footage and no one would need to be any the wiser.
No.
But the whole world has now seen that footage and you just think, oh, God,
90s.
I just hope I never go
It's 90s.
missing.
No, don't ever film me dancing.
Yeah. Anyway, and it's kind of hard because you can't really hear the music in the footage either. So it's like when you see movies being made and without the sound.
Put to it yet.
Put to it yet. And everyone's just like dancing to nothing.
Like you have no beat.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Or trying to keep different timings.
Yeah. So Amy's seen dancing with Yellow, and then later on she's seen dancing with someone else in the footage as well. According to Brad, he feels like he needs a bit of fresh air and he goes outside to the pool deck, which is just, I think, or not even the pool deck, sorry, just a deck, which is just outside of the nightclub.
Yeah.
And he sits there for about half an hour, gathers his thoughts. I think he was talking to a couple of girls.
Yeah.
And then he decides at 3:30 or a bit before 3:30 a.m. to go back down to the room. He doesn't tell Amy he's going back to the room. He just goes. His key card is swiped at their door at exactly 3:35 a.m. And then Amy's key card was swiped literally exactly 5 minutes later at
3:45.
Oh, 3:45.
Sorry.
So
Brad wears at 3:40.
Oh, okay.
And then hers is at 3:45.
Okay. So it's 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
That they were, that their key cards were swiped.
Yeah.
And Brad said that when he got into the room, he actually went straight out to the balcony to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
And kind of calm down, I guess, wind down from the night.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, Amy's there. So she's out there they're having a smoke together, having a chat, talking about the night. Brad Bradley claims that Amy said that she was dancing with Yellow and that Yellow had tried to touch her chest and it made her feel really uncomfortable. But she wasn't distressed by it. She was just kind of telling him, it was like a bit creepy and I didn't really like it.
Yeah. Brad sort of his opinion of sort of like how it was said was that it was just a passing comment of like, oh, this happened, like kind of thing. And neither of them, he said he was a very protective brother, but it didn't give him the, I need to go and, speak to this guy.
Can you imagine looking at
Brad Bradley?
Looking at Yellow and looking at Brad? I don't know that would have gone down very well anyway.
But he was definitely like, he goes, I didn't think anything of it, that, if it just, she had handled it, like kind of thing, Like
and
it was dealt
I think
with.
she could handle her own. Like,
yes.
I did get that sense from listening to like even her friends, I think she was, she wasn't a shrinking violet.
No. Yeah, she knew, she had her boundary and
and that was that.
No thanks, mate. Off you go.
Brad then says that he decides to go to bed.
Yeah.
And Amy said that she was feeling a little unwell and wanted to sort of sleep out in the fresh air on the balcony. Get some more
fresh air, yeah.
Fresh air on the balcony. So 2 things here. We know from her card and her purchases throughout that night that in 8 hours she'd had 7 light beers that she'd purchased.
Yes.
We don't know if anyone else had bought her drinks or
put something in a
drink. We don't know. We don't know that. We know for sure that she had 7 light beers over 8 hours.
Yeah.
So what? She wouldn't have been drunk.
No,
from that.
that's yeah.
We also know obviously that she came back the time that she came back. We know roughly the time Brad went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he said he went to bed because he was like, oh my God, we've got to get up. They were on their way to Curacao.
Yeah.
And they decided, I think they were deciding whether to go jet skiing or go on a glass bottom boat.
Yeah, they knew they were docking
day.
really early. So they were like, and you had to have breakfast by a certain time because of the docking. Like it impacted those sorts of things.
Yeah,
so.
I think they were serving breakfast from 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So
that people could exit the boat and get doing their day like
yeah, that's it, and actually make the most of the day. I'm sure some of the shore excursions probably would have been that entire day.
Exactly.
So Brad goes off to sleep in the pull-out couch, and Amy's, falling asleep on the chair in the balcony.
Yeah.
When Brad goes into the room, he shuts the balcony door, and goes off to sleep.
Yeah.
At 5:30 a.m.,
yeah,
Ron wakes up, and just enough to sort of be like, oh, is everyone here? And he sees Brad in the bed next to him.
Because he would have been like,
oh,
like pretty much like right up against his face. Like
There's not a lot of space between them.
No.
And then he's like, oh, where's Amy? And then he said he sees her from basically the knee down, sees her outside.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, fine, goes back to sleep. Can't have been that deeply, but goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
Because at 6 a.m., I think he wakes up and he notices that Amy's gone. Now, she's not on the balcony. The door is, according to him, 10 to 12 inches open.
Open just a smidge.
A smidge. And her Birkenstocks, her shoes that she'd been wearing most days, were still outside, but her cigarettes and her key card were gone. Lighter were gone.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, maybe she's gone to
watch us pull into port, kind of thing, which sounds makes sense.
Grab a coffee, sober up a bit, if that's kind of what he was thinking.
And he noticed too that the t-shirt she like had on the night before, like the yellow top you can see her in the nightclub wearing, that was on the back of a chair. So inside. So he'd assumed she'd gotten changed. She was wearing obviously something different. But yeah, then he thought, I'll go check and go find her around the ship and join her. Yeah.
He looks around the ship for an hour.
Yeah.
And can't find her. About half an hour after he started looking for her, he encountered a security officer. And he said to the security officer, oh, look, I can't find my daughter, which is unusual to him. And the security officer basically said to him, keep looking. And if you can't find her, then you need to go to the purser's office to sort of report her missing. I don't even think they got to that part of the conversation, actually. Ron keeps then looking for about a half an hour more, and then he's like, holy fuck, panic stations, I can't find her. I'm going to go back to the room. I guess he probably went, oh, maybe she's gone back to the room and we've missed each other somewhere.
Yeah.
He goes back and he wakes Ivor up. So he goes back, she's not there. Amy's not there. He wakes Ivor up and by touching her on the foot, and Ivor says that she could tell immediately that something was wrong based by the look on his face. She's never seen him look like that before, we're just going with what they're saying at the moment. We'll talk about this. We will absolutely talk about this. So Ivor gets up and they wake Brad and they basically say, Brad, you stay here in case she comes back. We'll go and look and have a look around. So they're, again, looking around the ship.
They report her missing at 7:02.
So when they report her missing, though, and I kind of get this, they report her missing and they say our daughter, 23 years old, is missing. And they're like, oh, yep.
Just keep looking?
Maybe keep looking. And they actually say to them then as well, look for another half an hour. If she's still not back, come back and we'll notify whoever the head of security is.
Yeah.
They do that. They come back.
Because they sort of said, we don't want to put out an announcement at this hour of the morning. Like, people are still sleeping. And any announcement they were going to put out was going to go into the rooms as well as the general, areas, the common areas. So I can understand that a little bit.
I can,
especially for a grown adult. You're not looking for a child.
If it was a 7-year-old, absolutely.
Yeah. But they were sort of like, oh, she's probably
23.
just, at a different bar, or I can understand this thinking entirely.
Me too.
So they were like, just keep looking, like, come back to us later, but we don't want to do a call out just yet and alarm people who are like, in bed still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ship was pulling into Curacao at this time. So I think 7:20 the ship actually docks.
Yeah, they actually...
Oh, no, sorry, 6 a.m. they docked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so they do pop the gangway down and I think they open the doors at about 7:20.
7:20 they open the doors. So we're talking, like they've reported her missing at 7:02, being told, like just keep looking, we're not putting out an announcement. And so they're sort of basically, they're already really saying, but we need to stop people getting off the ship, which I find that...
I find that odd too.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't open the doors, you can't let people out, you've got to put out an announcement.
In hindsight, yes, I understand it.
Yep.
But that's knowing what we know now. Like,
they didn't know any
get
of
it,
that.
but they didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I can understand the ship in their take on it at
Me
the time,
too.
going, we need to let people do their holiday.
Yeah.
Like, you need to find your daughter.
Yeah.
Like, there's no urgency from the ship's behalf at this point in that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, we're going to open the gangways and let people out. Like, but they're already like, Ron and Ivor are like, no, you need to keep everyone here and we need to find her. And, yeah, so I do find that interesting.
I find that really interesting too. At this point, they've also said to Brad, you need to look around the ship as well.
Yeah.
He goes to the deck, I think it was deck 2, where passengers are departing.
Yeah.
And he actually goes to the other side of the ship where it's like the sea side. So
Yes.
not where the gangway is, but the other side of the ship. And what he sees is a big, like massive open area of the ship where they're taking off rubbish and taking off whatever, like sheets and towels and stuff to be laundered, and bringing on fresh food and whatever else is needed to replace that, probably fresh linens and stuff. He finds that to him, this is a very important thing that he has witnessed. We will again get to that when we discuss the theories around what's happened.
Yeah.
But what I think is bizarre is if Ron and Ivor are so adamant for people not to be getting off the ship, if that were me and I had that sentiment and I felt that strongly, I would go and stand on that gangway and look at every single person who got off. Because there's one exit point.
Was there only one exit point?
100%.
Because that's what I was going to say. Even if there was 3, there's 3 of you, each of you go and stand at an exit point. I was like, how many exits could there have been?
There was 1.
So yeah, 1 even. Like 3 of you, plant yourselves one either side of that, just watch everyone exit.
Yep.
But I do understand there was obviously other places where
She could have
crew,
been.
but like crew
yes.
were obviously doing things with people from Curacao in terms of like maintenance of the ship, things like, as you were just saying. And there was definitely people who were crew or not crew entering and exiting that ship at that point in time. Because another aspect of this is that we can talk a little bit about is like the fact that in this time frame, passports weren't really like looked at closely, and all those sorts of things that people were able to, like, this boat wasn't considered to be another country as such. Like, they would just come and go off that ship. It was very easy for people to do that.
Yeah, so I know by the time I went on my cruise to the Caribbean, which was in 2012, when we got off the ship, they scanned our passports, and then when we got back on the ship, we had to scan our passports again. So I'm assuming none of that happened in 1998.
I remember back in this sort of time frame, I remember being on a tour a little bit earlier, 2000s still. But I remember being on a tour thing where we were changing country, and we literally just all handed our passports to the tour guide, and he went off to a centre somewhere, I don't even know where. All our passports came back stamped.
Cool.
But there was no like lining up that person's that passport. I mean, and it was just a matter of like, they stamped, I don't know, 30 passports, and yes, 30 people walked through.
Yep.
But who was who?
No further check to that or anything, or that you even were the person who was on the passport.
Because I think the bus we were on, like the bus then just drove through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no even check of the bus or no. So I dare say this is the kind of vibe. That's the vibe of this situation of like, it's just, if you've got 30 passports, I guess you've got 30 people.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Or even almost
Or even not
less
even
if you've got
checking
your
them
key
passports.
card. Yeah, you've got your key card, you can come back on. I don't even know.
No, there didn't seem to be any checks of anything like that.
So, I mean, at this point, I guess the ship have decided that, okay, we'll put out an announcement now.
Yeah.
And what time did that announcement
I think that was
happen,
about
actually?
30 minutes after the gangway had been
Gone
lowered.
down, yeah.
So
Actually, it was at 7:50.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
You're
everyone,
absolutely
there
right.
were definitely people who had exited at that time already, but not everyone. Like, not everyone was hankering at the bit at 7:20 to go out on that gangway. And I'm sure that's the thing where you go, like, you could have just stood there and watched who left, because I'm sure they were dribbling out at that hour.
Yeah.
Not,
lining up.
Not lining up.
So over the loudspeaker, they said, "Will Amy Bradley please come to the purser's desk?" That was all. There was one announcement.
Yeah.
I think I think Ivor waited to see, and Ron kept going for a search around and trying to see what was going on. And obviously Brad was still searching too.
Yeah. So at some point here too, Brad, another thing just worth noting, Brad was wandering around looking for Amy, and he was approached by Yellow, who came up to him. And at this point, they had not yet, I think they'd reported her missing, but they hadn't made the announcement yet.
Yeah.
So Yellow said to him basically, "Oh, sorry to hear about your sister," which Brad didn't think too much of at the time, but in hindsight kind of went, wait, how did you even know that she's missing, or that something had happened to her?
But now we know how they know, and they didn't include this in the Netflix documentary.
No. So there's like this. It sounds really dodgy, like at the time, but it's
actually not. That like there was a legitimate reason that. So the way that Yellow found out was because he was in his room, and he got a phone call from the ship's security to say, "You were seen with Amy last night. She's gone missing. Have you seen her? Do you know where she is? Do you know what might have happened to her?" Yeah. That's how he knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is it? Or did he actually know something else? Like we don't know.
But he definitely was. There was evidence that he was told that there was something,
and it was before the announcement.
And before that announcement. Yep. So, and this thing is, even beyond that happening specifically, I am certain crew would talk. There'd be massive goss on that ship of
can you imagine the shit that they would
I've
see?
known people who've worked on cruise ships, and apparently,
really? It would get so fucking loose. They would have great stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there would be so much gossip, and so the minute I think at some point it did infiltrate then into passengers that someone had gone overboard.
Yeah.
And you can just imagine that, careless whispers kind of style of thing happening, of like it just growing from that point of like.
So first it was like someone fell overboard, and then it was like someone committed suicide.
Yeah.
Like, so careless whispers.
And this all stemmed from someone's gone missing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really has just grown. And you can imagine that going on the ship, and it's spreading pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That there's, without even them making an announcement, that something would, just spread like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think it's also just really quickly noting as well, because looking through this with a 2025 lens, there was no CCTV footage. So it's not like they could be looking at the security. I mean, now I'm sure every common area of a ship is covered by
probably
CCTV.
Like, you'll be able to move without being on video, on camera somewhere. Whereas, at this point in time, there were cameras, but very few.
Very few.
Very
and
few.
none of them captured Amy.
No.
Certainly not after the time in which they were looking for her.
No. So the only cameras were like those ones that we spoke about from the videographer that was there, that we've got footage of, but like any other camera on the ship didn't pick her up.
No.
All
right. So Amy is still missing, and her parents are incredibly panicked. The ship offer to do what they call a Charlie drill. Now, a Charlie drill is apparently generally used for when there's a bomb threat on the ship. And what it means is, or what they're supposed to do when they're doing a Charlie drill, is every single member of the crew has a responsibility to check a certain area.
Yeah.
And they are to check anything that is bigger than a bread box.
Yeah. So basically to say, like, anywhere a body could be, it would be checked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, so at the time, Amy's family thought that this had been carried out
in full,
and that Amy was not on the ship. In fact, the ship's captain said to them, "Amy is not on this ship."
Yeah.
So they go, "Holy fuck, we need to get off this ship. We need to go and look for her now in Curacao. We don't know where she is.
Yep.
She's not on the ship, so we've got where else could she be?"
So the ship also then engaged with local facilities to be able to get start looking for an ocean view of like whether or not did she go over
Yeah.
board. And so they do start checking the sea.
Yeah.
And local areas in terms of where a body could wash up potentially.
Yeah, and they
that
had
begins
very
too.
good ideas of currents and roughly where the ship was at the time that they know Amy was there at 5:30, but at 6 o'clock she wasn't. So like around that time where they would have been.
Between that timeline, because if we go by the fact of, so Ron has seen her sitting on that balcony to when she was no longer there, you're really looking at like a 30-minute window. So they know where the ship was based on the fact that they were going through a canal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they were close to shore, like either side of them in doing that. I was interested to look at that in terms, I'll put it on the socials, the image, because it does show like, from what time they enter this canal at 5 a.m. So even if Ron was out by what time he woke up, it was like by 5 a.m. they were reaching that canal and entering into there. So, and took sort of the full hour to get through that canal. So his half-hour window falls within that hour,
And when we're talking a canal, we're talking like you can see land both sides of you.
Yeah.
Just keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
So if
3 miles, I think they said, to shore
Yeah.
at any point.
Yeah.
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 Which, that's
far.
It's 4.8K.
That's far.
It's far.
But it's also, you're not in the middle of the ocean.
No. Yeah.
All right. So the Bradleys decide to get off the boat and go and look for her in Curacao because at this point they think that there is absolutely no chance Amy's on the ship. It's been checked to the point where every stateroom has been checked, everyth's been checked.
According
and she's
to them
not
at
there.
that time. Yeah.
According to them, according to Royal Caribbean, according to the ship's captain at the time.
Yeah.
And as you said, the ship got in contact with the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard. They did a 4-day search after this, and literally nothing showed up. They used helicopters, a radar plane. They really did pull out all the stops to try and find a body, which I think is what they were essentially looking for at this point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Initially, the authorities suspected that Amy had either fallen overboard or died by suicide because I guess that's probably the most likely thing or the most common thing that would happen on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
But then, later on investigators basically stated that there was no evidence that Amy fell overboard. So it's just, I know. All right. So the Bradleys are in Curacao. They say that as they get off, they go to, there's like at the port there, I guess, there's a taxi rank, there's lots of things going on, lots of people, and a taxi driver says to them that, was this that day?
No.
This was a different day.
Yeah.
I'm getting myself mixed up.
It was like a month later.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I am absolutely getting myself really mixed up.
Yeah. They search the island at this point and they come back with nothing. They come back to the ship going, we can't find her there either. Like no one's, So no one on that day says they saw her.
No, not one person. Sorry,
on
you're
that
absolutely
day.
right. On that day.
Yeah.
But then the family have a really tough choice to make. Do they get back on the ship in Curacao and go on to the next ports were St. Martin and St. Thomas?
That would just be sickening.
Or do they stay in Curacao? And they actually decide to stay in Curacao.
Yeah.
And I get that with the information that they had. I think I would have made the same decision.
Yep.
And what they do, so the president of the insurance company and his wife also disembark and stay with them. They find a hotel room. This bit is like a funny turn of the story. But Iva, being a very devoutly Catholic woman, she wanted a priest to visit her and at the hotel, and they couldn't find a Catholic priest. Guess what they found instead?
Oh, what?
Scientologists.
Close.
What? They apparently there was a Scientology ship close by, and they got two.
Well, Tom Cruise came over and
I don't know what you call a Scientology. I don't know what they're called. Grand Poobah came off the ship and came and apparently, according to Brad, it was weird. They were really weird.
Well,
I mean, duh.
Expect nothing else.
Apparently, at the point that Ron got to when he was like, all right, you guys can go now, they were getting them to lie face down on the floor and were like cleansing them of the trauma or something. And then Ron was like, look, I think we've had enough. I think like we're traumatized enough as it is. If you could just please
leave.
If you could just please fuck off, that'd be great. And so I just thought that was a really funny little tip. You know, they're like, no Catholic priests, but you know, a couple of Scientologists will do.
Close. Like, surely there was someone more than.
I don't know. Look, that's just what ended up happening. Maybe it was who they asked. I really don't know.
Can't find a Catholic priest. Don't worry, we'll find a cult leader for you.
Yeah. Can you imagine, though, what it must have felt like for them? You know, they say they didn't sleep. They weren't eating. They're like, are we going to find a body?
No, I'd just be
you just can't even imagine.
And apparently Ivor absolutely was.
Apparently she was just...
No.
But literally, like she couldn't cope.
No.
She wasn't coping.
No.
What they end up doing, so while local authorities had been notified, so I think this is Ron and Ivor's boss. He tries to contact the US embassy, and it was closed.
Yeah, well, I think
it was too late at night by the time they got to the hotel.
Yeah, so Ivor and Ron got in touch with a relative back home, and they were the ones who were able to connect with the FBI then and get them alerted and onto this, but they still couldn't even get to the island for 24 hours.
Yeah, so they had a field office in St. Thomas.
Yeah.
But by the time that, because you had to organise a private flight between islands, because most people don't, there's not regular commercial flights between islands. So,
but they also the FBI had to have clearance to be able to be involved anyway. So the 24 hours was, organising transport to get there and get someone there, but it was also waiting for the local government at the time to allow them to even be involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because oh God, the whole idea of jurisdictions of what cruise ships come under is just a whole remit of bloody legal shit.
I actually learnt a lot about it because
I don't ever want to go on a cruise ship for this reason.
Same. So when you're docked and within 3 miles of land, you fall under that country's jurisdiction.
I think it's 12 nautical miles of land. You're in that country's jurisdiction.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's as close, like as far as that even. Okay. But once you're out in open sea,
you are actually under
maritime law and also
the flag of the ship that you're on.
But where that ship is registered to.
Yes, exactly.
So the fact of the matter is, like, all these, like Royal Caribbean, their head office is in Florida, but that's not where the ship is registered.
No,
way too expensive.
And then too many legal things they have to.
They'd have to pay people real money, to be able to work on the ship.
Yeah.
So their ship actually came under Norway. So they had it registered in Norway. So there's others that are like under Liberia and all these sorts of things. So depending on wherever they would register the boat to, where they could get the best, I guess, deal in terms of all that stuff, that they would register the boat for. That's where the legal aspects of what law you come under is under that country that the boat's registered to. Totally, I mean, and people don't understand all this stuff, I don't think, before they go cruising. I mean, you don't think you have to, I guess, but you should be more aware of those things because you're not, like, as an Australian walking onto necessarily a cruise ship going, like, it's okay, the Australian government will take part.
Australian citizen or an American citizen. No.
Yeah, I'm fine, but because that's not the law you're in, at all.
Not necessarily anyway.
No.
That the FBI do get permission to board the ship. And so what they do is they come to Curacao, they interview Ron and Ivor and Bradley all together first, then they separate them, interview them separately.
Doing that first, separate them first.
You would have thought so. But then...
Well, I mean, I guess how much time's passed anyway of separating them now? What's the difference?
Probably.
Yeah.
And also, like, Ivor was so distressed, and I guess they wanted to get a rough idea of what was going on before they then, I guess, drilled down.
Yeah.
They then decide to go and meet the ship at St. Martin, I believe, and they actually arrive before the ship gets there.
Yes.
And so they've got a bit of time there to sort of figure out their game plan, I think, and try and figure out, especially the FBI, like, what's their tact? Where are they going with this? What are they going to try and do? I can't even imagine how it would have felt for the family to have left Curacao, where they thought at this point Amy must have been because she wasn't on the ship.
Yeah.
They get back. So anyway, they end up boarding the ship in St. Martin.
You're hoping that ship arrived and the gang came down and then like Amy was standing there, wouldn't you? Like,
oh, fuck.
God.
Oh, my God, yes.
But no.
But no, that didn't happen. The FBI board the ship and they start to figure out exactly what's gone on, establish a little bit of a timeline as much as possible, and
find a whole heap of stuff that wasn't done properly. That's for damn sure, though. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think their room had been cleaned.
Yes.
They
hadn't been on the ship for 2 or 3 nights at this point.
Yeah, maybe 2. Yeah, so their room had actually just been cleaned, which, the cleaner had come in. But not only that, like many other rooms that potentially had been cleaned, like those sorts of areas.
All the common spaces.
All the common areas, all those things.
Yep. Anywhere that could have been a potential crime scene or a potential area of interest.
Yeah.
Gone.
But also that the search that the crew had done, that they promised the family they had done the full search, the FBI very quickly found out that had not been done correctly, and that only the common areas, the rooms and bathrooms had been,
not even rooms.
No, her room. I think they looked, like, obviously, but they hadn't looked in other rooms.
They just looked in like public
areas, public bathrooms, all the common areas basically of the ship had been checked.
Come the fuck on.
Oh my God, like if someone's, has, which awful, but hidden a body, say, sort of stuff, what, they're going to put it in a common area?
So the videographer, Chris, what's his name? Chris something or other. He says, Lawson, whatever. He says that he was in his stateroom for basically that entire time, right? And he said he had over 30 boxes, cases of film equipment big enough to put a body in.
Yeah.
No one ever checked them.
No. That's crazy.
So I think, that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He was in his room. He knows that it never got checked.
Let alone laundry carts and things like that. And
that's it.
Those sorts of places where things could have been hidden very easily. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So fucking honestly, like, I think don't say you've done something you haven't done, because then people act on that thinking that things are one way and they're not.
Yeah.
And her family made decisions based off that.
Exactly. Yeah. With the information they got, as you say, they made the right decision.
Yep.
Like,
agreed.
But
I would have done exactly
if the information was, if I'd known that ship hadn't been searched entirely, a different decision might have been made. So
for sure.
Yeah. Oh God, awful. But yeah, sure. I mean, the FBI, they couldn't do much then on the ship basically because the room itself, as I say, had been cleaned. So they did do their own search and more, a lot more thorough. They did find a few interesting things, I guess, but nothing of, major note. They found that, obviously her shoes were where they, were there. That's where they had been left. And they found that, there were some marks on the railing that would suggest somebody had sat there on the railing. But that's really about all they found in the room.
Kind of hard to say, but yeah, marks on the railing, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the theories, and I think this is the theory the family are 100%.
Yeah, they seem to be very much on this.
Much on this path, is that, there's known human and sex trafficking networks in Curacao and Aruba.
Particularly in the 90s.
I was going to say, especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
So this was something that was known, but, again, interesting. Cruise ships, you think, now, knowing what we know now in terms of the lawlessness of them, the security on the ship are basically
they're law
judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, people are quite vulnerable when they're on a cruise ship, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
And if you think like Amy was drunk, was there anything else in her system? We don't know. How many drinks had she actually had?
I mean, even in this like trafficking theory, I guess there's two separate theories of this as well, in that whether voluntarily she's exited the ship and been abducted in some way after leaving the ship, like being coerced herself like to do that, or has she been like attacked in some way and taken off the ship. So there's two different sort of things to look at in terms of like, did she want to exit the ship? And then like, I don't know, for example, let's say someone on the ship said, yeah, I know someone, in Curacao who can get you some good weed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, I'll meet you and we'll go and get it.
Yeah.
And then when she's gone and done that off the ship early hours of that morning, something bad's happened beyond there.
Yeah.
Or is there the idea that someone on the ship targeted her and was like, this is the one we want. We're going to take her, and spiked her drink, lured her somewhere and incapacitated her in some way and physically removed her from the ship in some other way.
Yeah.
So there's two sort of theories of how that it could occur, but then the idea of like the trafficking, the sex trafficking in the area, it is known that occurs there. But there's a few things that I have an issue with.
Go on.
So she had some very distinct markings in that she had these tattoos, right? So she had literally every tattoo that anyone in the late 90s had. So
Except for the Looney Tunes.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was...
you reckon?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I know Looney Tunes was massive in
huge.
the 90s. Yeah.
Especially, around that time would have been like Space Jam-ish.
Yeah, actually, that's true, yeah.
She had like a Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball, which, was a basketball player herself. That was, I think, on her shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah. She had a sun on her lower back, which, we all used to call the stamp trap. I used to always tell my friends who got those done, like, one day that sun's going to set and the sun's going to shine out of your eyes.
Careful where you put it.
Very much so. You want that sunrise and...
You have to have a full body lift just so your tattoo looks all right.
Oh, God. She had a Chinese symbol. Who knows what it said? So that was on her right ankle and a gecko on her like navel area.
Around her belly button.
And she also had navel piercings.
Yeah.
Which didn't we all?
With a blue... Like
a topaz.
Blue topaz. Again.
So 90s.
So 90s. So 90s.
Oh, God, I had the fucking same one.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Jesus. Oh, God. So,
I love it.
Yeah, these were specific things that I do really query, like, the trafficking thing with the fact that, well, one, these tattoos, that she was easily, she had green eyes also, very, very distinct.
Yeah.
That, to me, if you're in that sort of thinking of, like, that you're doing sex trafficking, are you going to take someone who's very tight-knit family, which was seen on the ship, has very distinct markings that can be identified easily, or are you going to take someone who's a bit of a loner? Are you going to, pick someone out who's kind of not...
But maybe they needed a young, beautiful... they're not going to take the 70-year-old for
No,
sex
I know that, but that's what I mean. Like is this really the place to be finding somebody?
Well, maybe it was opportunistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was... Because, was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe it was a crime of opportunity. They see her, they get to a point where they can get her out on her own.
But it's very risky. Because she's got family who are actually going to miss her.
Less risky than it would be today, though. Because you think, they're not going to be captured on CCTV.
No.
There's ways of getting her off the ship. We're not scanning things on and off.
But people are definitely going to be like, hey, where's Amy gone?
Yeah.
Whereas someone else could
maybe not.
They could disappear with that and not have, so many people looking for her.
Yes.
Sort of stuff. So, but not only that, people looking for her, that she's easily identified.
Yeah.
Too. That I find all a little bit like, would that be the person they'd pick? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Did you know your hair ages just like your skin does? The new Chronologies line offers luxurious youth revitalizing care for aging hair. It reverses the 5 key signs of hair aging: lack of thickness and volume, dullness, dryness, and frizz in just one night. Use the full range of Chronologiste shampoo, mask, and overnight serum, and wake up to visibly fuller, smoother, healthier hair. Shop the new Chronologiste line at Kerastase.com.
The things that support that are the fact that there's been sightings.
Yes.
Well,
let's talk about that. Well, there've been quite a few. Alleged sightings, because none of them have been proven.
No.
So the first one was, this is where I got my taxi driver thing a bit mixed up, because this happened the day after a disappearance, or was it the month after when Brad and
month later they went back to Curacao.
So only Brad and Ron went back.
Yeah, they went back a month later because they were hearing, I guess, reports of things that
they
that was
wanted
stuff.
to do like a press conference while they were down there, because they wanted to
spread the word
because they were getting a lot of media attention in the US, but not so much in the Caribbean.
Yeah, which is where they really needed it.
They needed it, exactly. Yeah. So that's what made them travel back.
Yeah, so they went to Curacao, and so a month later, and as they were arriving, wasn't long after their arrival that a cab driver came up to them and spoke to them and said that he saw Amy that day. The day of her disappearance, I believe. Yes. That basically.
Oh, no, the day after her disappearance. On the 24th of March, he said he saw her.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the day that she went missing. That's the Tuesday.
Oh, that is. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
So on the day she went missing, supposedly she had come up to his cab looking for a phone to make a phone call and something else, maybe cigarettes or something. Yeah, she was looking for cigarettes because that was sort of kind of like, well, yeah, that'd be Amy. She asked for cigarettes.
Unless they were Marlboro Light.
Yes. So he didn't recognize her at that point, as didn't know she was missing.
Yeah.
But it was later on that he realized that these photos that we're seeing up of this girl who's missing, that I'm seeing on the news or whatever, that's that girl.
For him, the biggest distinctive factor that made him think it was Amy was this woman had green eyes, and she had an American accent.
Yes.
And like a Southern accent, and and so that's what made him think it was her. I don't think he said anything about her tattoos. I'm pretty sure the cab driver didn't mention her tattoos.
I don't remember him saying anything about the tattoos.
But what he said is she went off in the other direction. So he said go to the phone that way.
Yeah,
and she went the other way. So what was that all about?
Yeah. But I mean, as we said, on the day when they got off that ship, it was incredibly busy.
Yes.
So there were a lot of people around, a lot of American accents around too. So are these sightings?
A lot of people have, not a lot of people, but more than one person on a boat of 2,000 passengers probably had green eyes.
Yeah, that too. But also after a month, those eyes could look green. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Like, our memories are.
I don't necessarily. I don't look at people and go, "Oh, what colour are your eyes?" That's actually the first thing I look at.
Well, that's what he said though, because that's why he reckons he remembers it, because it was so striking.
Right,
her eyes were so striking.
Okay,
I don't know.
Yeah.
The next alleged sighting was by these Canadian surfers this was in August of 1998, so a few months after her disappearance.
Scuba divers they were.
Yeah, they were in Curacao on a diving trip, and one of them was washing off their equipment after having been on a dive. Now, they were in a really sort of secluded part of Curacao where it was called like Port Marie or something like that, where not many tourists went to, but it was a really good diving spot.
Yeah.
And apparently all that was there was one little shop, and that was it. So they'd been scuba diving. They were coming in. One of the men was washing their equipment in the shallows of the water, and he called out to his friend. And there were three people kind of walking past him at the time, two men on the outside and a woman in the middle. And as soon as the woman heard that he was speaking English and had an American, Canadian, but an Americanish accent, she turned around and looked at him. And he, it struck him as being odd the way she kind of looked at him. It was enough for him to sort of take note.
Yeah, he said that she looked scared.
Scared, yeah. So the way he describes one of the men in particular, it could have been, I guess, at this point, Yellow was a suspect.
Yep.
He'd been interviewed by the FBI on the ship. The way he describes one of the men, it was basically a description very similar to that of Yellow.
Yeah.
And he also described her tattoos. this man.
Yes.
So he described the Tasmanian devil with the spinning basketball, the Chinese symbol on her right ankle, the gecko.
No.
Not the gecko?
No.
It was just the...
I think it was just the Tasmanian devil, actually.
I think he saw her ankle as well.
As well? Okay.
And he also noted her green eyes.
Now, so this occurred in... So
August
she went
of
missing
1998.
August in 98.
Yep.
He didn't report it until he saw it being... it was on a program that he saw in the December of the same year in 98. So, I mean, yeah, spaces between 6 months later, basically, before he reported it.
But he says, I know it was her.
Yes. So there had been photos of her released. Her tattoos had been released. And also her eye colour, obviously. So those things had been out in the media
and
already.
It was on the FBI website.
Yes.
It was everywhere for anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone could access that information.
Yes.
So he also says that he and his mate, so the three people went up to the bar or the restaurant, whatever, the only thing that was on that strip of beach, and ordered a drink, and he and his mate went up and had a drink as well, but they left before the other three people did, and he kind of really didn't think that much more of it until he saw.
Yeah. He sort of says like these two men that were with her really prevented her from coming and speaking to them. Like there was a real... He felt there was something weird.
A sense of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got definitely got a sense.
Yeah.
Naval Petty Officer William Hefner. What a name, first of all, for this bloke.
Yes.
His alleged sighting was in January of 1999, so, the following year.
Yeah.
Almost a year after she went missing. He was he was actually on leave for the day in, it was in Barbados.
This was in
Barbados. He was on leave for the day as a Navy SEAL, a Navy officer, and he was a Navy Petty Officer.
Yep.
And
he was coming up for retirement.
Yeah, he was 2 or 3 years off retirement.
Oh, less than that, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And he decides to take himself off to a brothel for
Which
the day.
is completely
against the rules.
And not only that, is it against rules to do that, but if you are out and about, whether it your be or day of leave or not, as a member of the Navy, you go in pairs as a minimum, anywhere you go.
He didn't.
No.
He was on his own.
Yeah.
He gets to this, this is what fucking gets me. He calls it a bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a bar, dude. It's a fucking brothel with a bar
I
in
just wanted
it.
to go in for a beer. He was just going for a beer, Emma.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, he was just
and I just
going
work
for
at the
a beer.
front desk, all right?
Yeah. So he's gone in for a beer, and there were 3 girls. Is that what he said? Or two girls? No, sorry. There were 2 girls and a man.
Yeah. Yes.
And they were all having a chat, and at some point, the man and the other girl that was there, they sort of walked away and were out of earshot. And Amy, this is what he claims, Amy says to him, "My name is Amy from Virginia." With that, the man comes back, and Amy has to stop in her tracks and sort of keep talking about whatever they were talking about before to try and pretend like she hadn't just disclosed who she was.
Yep.
He leaves that brothel, and she actually says to him, "I'm being held here against my will."
Yeah.
Sorry, as well.
Yeah.
He leaves that brothel. Now, regardless of whether that woman was Amy,
Yep.
how the fuck, as a Navy officer, can you be so callous as to leave a woman who's disclosed something like that to you and walk away?
He would have lost his retirement, he reckons.
What a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
I can't with that man.
Yeah, it was more, he was worried about himself.
Worried about losing his benefits after he retired. So when he retired in May 2002, so it was 3 years later.
Yeah.
He reported this to the FBI. What a hero.
Yep.
The FBI did investigate it. When they went down to Barbados to sort of try and figure out, they found out that the brothel had actually burnt down a couple of years before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was nothing for them to investigate.
No.
There was nowhere really for them to go after that.
This is it. Yeah.
There's another sighting in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yep.
in April 2003. I find this one interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
The witness, this woman says that there were 3 people watching a street musician, and she recognised one of those people as being Amy. When the 2 men who were with whoever this whether it was Amy or not, when they were with this girl, when they noticed that this woman had kind of clocked eyes on them and they could see that she'd figured out something, they literally fled with the woman who this witness thought was Amy. Apparently, the woman cast a really pleading look to this woman, and anyway, she tried very hard to chase them down, and she contacted the FBI and told them exactly what had happened. She even provided a sketch of the 2, of Amy, although it's not great, but of the 2 men that were with Amy as well. So she did her best to try and...
They're the 2 that there's a sketch of on the FBI website, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. One's like a redheaded, baldy guy with... Cool.
And that's it.
So another sighting of Amy, which was prior to her, during her missing but very early moments, was back on the ship, which is an interesting one because I think there's a lot of credibility to it.
I fully agree.
Yeah. So there were actually, I think it was 3 women. They 2 days after her disappearance, they finally got to the Bradleys. We're like, oh my God, we've been trying to catch you and we couldn't find you, and they've divulged this information. So the Bradleys were basically saying we think that's when they were obviously off on Curacao and they couldn't find them on the ship. So they didn't give this information, unfortunately, but for 2 days. But what they found was, what they saw was that they remembered that in the early hours of that Tuesday morning, at about 6 a.m, they had seen Amy with Yellow at the nightclub. So back at the nightclub at about 6 a.m, which fits with the timeline of her not being in the room when Ron's rewoken, pretty much the same time. And so they just happened to see, they were coming down the elevator or something, and they could see in through to...
So Yellow and Amy were in an open glass elevator. So like a completely glassed-in elevator, and they saw them going up. And there's only one thing on that level, and that is the Viking Lounge.
Yes.
So...
They saw them go
into the Viking Lounge.
And they saw someone pour a dark drink.
So that was another lady.
That was someone else?
That was another lady who was in the Viking Lounge at the time.
Because, so this corroborates each other's story of this occurred. This happened at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So, she did exit that room and was alive at 6 a.m.
That's right.
So she was seen there at 6 a.m. with him and a dark drink, which could have been a coffee, could have been a Coca-Cola, could have been anything, but a dark drink she was given in a glass. So that's that bit of evidence I think is pretty critical.
What those 3 girls then also say is that Yellow then exited and came down the elevator to the level that they were on again. Walked straight past them. Now the nights previously, he'd talked to these 3 girls. He had danced with them. He walked past them that morning like
he'd never seen
them before.
Yeah.
And they thought that was really weird because he'd come on to them. He'd wanted to party with them, and they weren't all that interested.
Yeah, right.
So they thought that was really weird. And then it also made them go, oh, where's Amy? We just saw you with Amy.
Yeah, you were with Amy there. And the other thing which is interesting of that, which you said earlier, that Yellow had been interviewed by the FBI. He had been, and he said to them that the last time he saw Amy was at 1 a.m. On the night prior.
Yeah.
Well, so Tuesday, very early hours, Tuesday morning. 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So, but now there's people saying, we saw you with Amy at 6 a.m. So that's interesting because he did technically, and what's in it, but he did do a polygraph. He voluntarily did a polygraph, and he supposedly it was, I've read inconclusive and I've read past it. So, I mean, who knows? Really, it's a polygraph.
It's not admissible.
Not admissible anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, what were the questions that were asked? If they didn't know about this 6 a.m., sighting at that time, there's no reason they questioned him on it. So therefore him saying, I saw her at 1 a.m. isn't wrong.
Doesn't mean anything.
Like, it's not, so who knows? But that is what did occur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's the tough bit for me. To get my head around all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the other supposed alleged sighting was on an adult website in 2005. A woman named Jazz with the same tattoo, same build, forensic comparisons by the FBI say that it is a possible match. I've seen it reported that it was definitely her.
I've seen it reported that it definitely was not.
Exactly. So I think that one we almost have to take with a grain of salt.
Unfortunately, and the one that I read that I felt was probably the most
credible,
was basically saying that photos of that era, it is particularly difficult to tell when they've been altered.
Yes, I did read that.
Yeah, and I found that interesting information because I thought, because even when I first saw it, I was like, well, we didn't really have like an Adobe Photoshop at the time. You know what I mean? So falsing an image at that point would be very different to how you would falsify an image these days.
Definitely.
And I wonder what their techniques would be as to how to go about it, but also how to prove whether it was or wasn't real.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's people who have done, and more laymen, who have done the comparison of like they've used the image that they've released of Amy, which was taken on the ship with Brad Bradley, and where she's facing one direction and they flip her face the other direction because that's the way the face is facing in the Jazz picture.
Yep.
Now, no one's face is symmetrical.
No.
And so when you do that, it matches almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Which to me then actually says it's not her.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't match perfectly.
Yeah.
If it was genuinely her face.
Yeah. And also, like, if you flip a photo, you can always tell people look weird the other way. Like, So, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a fair bit of credibility to say that image has been altered and isn't real.
Yeah.
Which devastates me because when it first got brought forward
I know.
on the documentary, I was like, oh my God, yes, she's alive. Oh my God, this is amazing. Like, that would bring the family so much hope.
Yeah. I think it did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think it brought them so much
I'm
hope.
so sad for them that I don't believe it's real.
Yeah.
And not to say that doesn't mean she's alive or not. It's not conclusive on
but
that.
Just that particular bit of evidence.
I don't think that actually is what you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next theory is, do we do the suicide theory next?
Okay. Yep.
So I guess this is a commonly held belief by a lot of people, because when the FBI went to do the initial search of their cabin, of the Bradley's cabin, they found that the little table, the little sort of coffee table, side table on the balcony was pushed up against the railing or up against the railing.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned earlier about the markings on the balustrade.
Yeah.
And so I guess, it's absolutely worth thinking about the fact that maybe Amy jumped.
Yeah.
Now, there's several issues with this theory.
Yeah.
The first issue is that, I guess it depends on what evidence you believe, because a lot of things haven't been re-corroborated by the FBI either. So I'm talking about that sighting of her in the elevator. That hasn't been, I think there's a lot of weight that should be placed on that because of those girls, the women. But it hasn't been said by the FBI that, yes, that was a confirmed sighting of Amy. So if we're thinking that at 5:30, Ron wakes up, sees Amy's legs there, he goes back to sleep. The theory is that he's startled awake at 6 a.m. by the sound of Amy falling or having jumped over the side of the boat.
Yeah.
And that sort of wakes him up to then be like, oh, where is she?
Where is she? Yeah.
This theory, I guess, is further supported by people, because people are like, well, her shoes were still left outside.
Let's just say that she did also bring 9 other pairs of shoes on that boat.
Oh, yeah, probably worth mentioning. But she wasn't wearing shoes, I don't Oh, actually, did they say whether other shoes had been taken from the room?
This I couldn't find any because I wanted to know what she was wearing.
I know,
and everything
they
as
know
well.
what she was wearing. She was definitely wearing denim shorts and a white shirt because they were able to.
Okay, they were able to deduce that from her. Okay,
yes,
I couldn't
from
read.
what
I
she
couldn't read.
brought.
I looked for it and couldn't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I looked for that in terms of the shoes then.
But
I
couldn't find that in relation to the
But
shoes either.
It is your holiday, so
That's right. But do you think they'd think that on a cruise ship? Because
Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You
Oh, I
have
can't
to be
cruise
like
then.
clean. You can't go into a common food area without shoes on. That's gross.
Oh, yeah. No. What food am I eating off my floor?
Oh, I don't know. I don't like it. Like people who have foot fungus and stuff. Like, oh no.
Shoeless.
We'll have to agree to disagree on this one. So yeah, that's another thing. Like, was she wearing shoes? Like, if you're going overboard, and if you're suicidal, do you have the forethought to be like, I'm going to take my shoes off? And because they were neatly left too, they were side by side.
But I dare say she's coming after a night. Personally, I'd take my shoes off pretty quickly. Like,
Same.
Yeah.
So would I.
So you would have sat down without your shoes on.
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
But then what happened between 5:30 and 6 o'clock to make her go, right, I'm going to jump?
Yeah. And I mean, this is where I guess that people come into this with the whole idea of, her confusion over her sexuality potentially and her family and their opinion on things or, but she had so much else going on in her life that was exciting in terms of her, the house she had bought. She'd just got a pup. Well, she hadn't actually got the puppy yet. She was picking the puppy up
when she
got back. She was planning on meeting back up with Molly.
Yeah,
she'd named the puppy. She was meeting back up with Molly, this girl that she'd been dating and was like, wanted to make things right with.
Yeah.
But again, as I mentioned, the wording in the letter that she wrote her, she wrote words like "save me." I find the language in that letter of interest that someone who is feeling, I don't know, like they want to get back together with someone. There was just very strong language of someone who's very needing like that person and very unsure of themselves.
I think so too.
As much as, and so I was saying that she came across potentially to everyone how I'm happy, I'm the life of the party, but that's not.
I mean, you don't know. You don't know. And often people who commit suicide.
Yes, are people who are presenting in that way.
Especially in the very immediate lead up to their suicide because they're happy. They've made the decision. They're going to do it. They know whatever trauma or whatever has pushed them to lead to that is coming to an end. And they often have a euphoric lead into that.
Yeah. Many comedians are depressed. Look
at Robin Williams.
Robin Williams is a key example of that. So it's, really interesting people who do the whole like, oh, but she was so happy. And so that's rule it out because she was the life of the party.
I think
don't rule that out.
So much to be said about her sexuality. I really feel like that's so downplayed in the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, it is.
Too.
They want to make something of it without, I don't know, like, but in a really unusual way.
Yeah.
And the fact that they left out this information about the boyfriend, what did that just make it too complicated? Or
I think Ron and Ivor, and even Brad, to be honest, never accepted the fact that she was gay.
I don't think so either.
And so when that is who you are and you're in a close family and you feel like you're not then being accepted for who you are by your close family who are ride or die, have your back, that is an existential crisis.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I wonder it comes to that question of like, is that why they were so desperate to have this holiday with the four of them? Like with a family feeling her pulling away going, you're not on the same page as me and I don't like this. And, really pushing back on them, separating herself from them in that way. And so they were like, oh, we need to bring her back in. Like, and this holiday was somehow, I don't know, a way to do that.
Yeah, okay.
But I also then wonder whether the Netflix documentary not including this Tom, who was the boyfriend, was that a conscious decision on the fact of who they had spoken to as to who the true Amy was, and they made a call that, you know what, yeah, she was dating Tom, but everyone knows she wasn't really with him and wanting to be with him, so we're just going to leave him out of it because were they saying, respectfully, Amy, we know who you were?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've heard Tom speak and their relationship was interesting, but I also have heard that Ivor was very much like, you should date Tom. He's so lovely. You should date Tom.
So I think that's so true. And I think there was a lot of pressure on Amy as well with the male attention she was getting on the ship. And her parents were delighted in that.
Yeah.
So the fact that these waiters were wanting her and stuff.
Making a lot of comments around it.
A big deal
and
about
making
it.
a big deal.
Like,
and I wonder
men
whether
want her. She's, look how popular
why
it is.
I wonder whether it was as they make it. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just wonder if it was as intense as they made it out to be.
Yeah.
Or was it that they were wanting it so badly that they were like making it more than it was?
I think the same thing.
I think it was young people who worked on the ship were like, yeah, come have a party with us. Like, come and join in. And and look, I'm not saying Yellow didn't touch her and all these sorts of things and made passes. I'm sure it happened. But I don't know if there was this conspiracy thing of, like everyone was doing
just
what
wanted Amy.
Yeah.
All these men wanted Amy.
Yeah, I feel they're pushing that too much. I mean, I know it then aligns with this whole idea of her being sex trafficked as well.
Yes.
But I just wonder whether there's a whole thing there that's maybe not there.
Yeah, I wonder exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So in going along with the suicide theory as well is the fact that they were the theory, I guess, is that Amy and Brad were very controlled by their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about the fact that Amy, her apartment was purchased by her parents, and so she was beholden to them around that.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that a lot of the things she did was to please her parents because she wanted to, but how much of that is, a level of control, especially over a 23-year-old and a 21-year-old. And then I know now to this exact very day, Brad lives a 60-second walk from his mum and dad. Now, there's two ways to think about that. Is he living a minute from his mum and dad because they have been through this tragedy and have lost a child and that's horrific and he just wants to be close to them? Or is that another way for this control to exist in this family unit?
Yeah.
I can see validity in both.
I think a 60-second walk, kind of 60-minute walk sort of thing is like a
60-second
walk.
Yeah. He's 200 yards away.
Too close no matter what.
He bought and built a place that close.
Oh. I mean, I don't know what the real estate market's like where they're from, but I think you could live 10, 15 minutes away.
Yeah, and it'd still be okay.
Still be okay.
Yeah.
Like, that seems awfully close.
Very
I mean, I love my parents, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, space is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just, this adds more to the controlling nature of it. They wanted their kids to be sporty, so they pushed them into all of the sports. And I'm not saying the kids didn't want to do it. I'm not. I don't know.
Oh, I think clearly Amy was definitely into it. Like
Absolutely.
She, excelled at it.
And then she wanted to go on and study that.
Yeah.
But then also she's then working for her uncle's computer company, which has nothing to do with her degree. Is that a level of control as well to keep her within the family and keep her not going out there? Were they embarrassed about what might have come of that given her sexual orientation? I don't know. I don't know. It's just theories that have been banding, I don't know.
So interesting. I mean, the one thing that does sort of, well, not one, there's a couple of things that kind of go squash on the suicide on the ship scenario, how sort of that occurring at like 6 a.m.-ish, is that one, she was seen in the ship at 6 a.m. by other people, which is just I think corroborated personally. I know the FBI aren't sort of saying that, but I feel that is corroborated enough to warrant that she was seen on the ship. But also there is from the room where the balustrade was, it was quite high, so we should to get up on it, but there was a shelf to stop people from being able to fall off of the ship. So if she was going to do it, she would have to have jumped out a fair way. But not only that, again, we were saying how far away from the shore she was. The fall wouldn't have killed her.
No.
So if she was going to do that, to die, she would have to do that out in open sea, not where you could see land.
Yes. And also, like, you think about her body surely would have washed up with currents and stuff like that.
Well, we can come back to that.
We will come back to that.
But yeah, the other theory of it was that people said, like, she jumped off and then swam. Now, I don't think that is where I kind of go potentially. If she did, I don't think she did.
I don't
but
think she did.
if she did, that's like I say, 4.8 kilometres. Now, a damn good swimmer.
Oh,
4.8K in a
That's a
pool is a hell of a long way.
but even then, that's a long
It's a hell of a long way. In the ocean, you're talking there's rips and currents. You're swimming far more than 4.8K.
Also, you've got to think of she didn't like being in the ocean. Also, the dangers of swimming around a massive cruise ship with massive rudders and
There's other boats. I mean, I know they said as they were coming through that spot too, there were other tugboats that pull the boat around and manipulate and move the boat as well, because like their rudders can't even make the boat turn that much. They have other boats in the water, so someone would have spotted her, if not, potentially collected her in terms of a rudder or something. So I don't think that those things occurred. I don't think she put herself in the water, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I use my words carefully.
This episode is brought to you by Palmolive. Family time isn't just the big moments. It's weeknight dinners, sitting around the table, everyone talking all at once. So when the plates are empty and the sink is full, use Palmolive Ultra. Palmolive's most powerful formula removes up to 99.9% of grease, leaving your dishes sparkling clean. And the new convenient pump makes cleaning even easier, so you can spend less time tackling dishes and more time together. Shop now at palmolive.com.
This episode is brought to you by Welch's Fruit Snacks. Big news for your kids' lunchbox. Welch's Fruit Snacks are now made without any artificial dyes. A snack parents can feel good about, and the same delicious taste kids can't get enough of. All made with no artificial dyes. Try Welch's Fruit Snacks today.
Yeah, another theory is that she fell, so that she was drunk or seasick, because, they were... the ship was moving at the time.
Yeah.
And she, according to Brad, she had felt sick after they left Aruba.
Yeah.
And had felt seasick when the boat started moving again.
Because it wasn't in high rough seas or anything. They were in fairly calm water. So that's not to say people don't get seasick in those sorts of waters. I do get it that people do. So she quite possibly did, because they were moving, and so they weren't in rough sea.
Yeah. So the theory is that she sort of leant over the balcony to vomit and fell in.
But see, that's where they actually build the balustrades so that can't happen. So they are she was 5'6", I think.
Yeah.
And the railing came up to about 4'10" or something.
Yeah. So to basically her armpits. So can you in order to?
And you're unwell.
But then she might have stood on the chair to get enough reach to vomit over the side. Who knows?
Yeah, but even then there's the shelf. So, you have to jump out, and so you'd have to put yourself out there.
You'd have to projectile vomit.
And then projectile leap to get away from the shelf. Because if you fell over the edge, you're falling on this shelf that would have collected you so that you didn't fall off the ship. So they've actually, they've put things in place for that reason. So, that one doesn't really fly either in that scenario. Yeah. And that someone saw her at 6 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So we then come back to, I guess, the idea that she voluntarily disappeared herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that could include exiting the ship, via whatever way she wanted to exit the ship, not necessarily jumping over the edge and swimming.
No.
She could have exited the ship voluntarily in other ways. So, maybe she did want to go and start another life. I don't, as we were talking about, the fact that, what the pressure she was under with various things, if that's what she was doing. I mean, and there are sightings of her, but I don't know. There's sort of no baseline of to sort of suggest that's what she would have done.
Yeah.
To wipe herself of her family entirely, I don't think that would be.
There was a report or a story that came out that she was looking for, that someone heard her say that she was getting off the boat to buy drugs for her and her brother.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, what they assume happened, if you believe this was the reason, is that she got off the boat via the gangway.
Yeah.
She's gone and tried to find and buy drugs for her and Brad. And then somehow, I think these people then also believe that she was then kidnapped and sex trafficked, basically.
I lean towards part of that.
Okay, go. Are we gonna get into this?
Do
now?
this? Yeah.
I think let's just really quickly talk about what the family have done since, and then we can get into our theories.
Yeah, cool.
So the family they literally haven't stopped looking for Amy, And they've hired private investigators. We'll get to this bit in a second.
Yes.
They've appeared on America's Most Wanted, the Dr. Phil show, Oprah. Oprah did a thing back in the... fucking Dr. Phil.
We need to do that.
Oh, he's such a piece of shit.
Well, isn't it funny that I think that's when they brought out the jazz photo, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe someone in the Dr. Phil show knows where that came from.
Yeah, exactly. Like, fucking, he's such a fuckwit. And I used to...
Allegedly.
I used to love him.
I know. It's same when I first used to watch.
I just can't believe I was so naive.
I know. I've rewatched ones these days, and I just go,
"What?
Fuck you, asshole!"
Like, I remember sometimes having a sickie from school so I could watch an episode that I really wanted to watch.
Oh God, if you're sick at home, Dr. Phil,
Oprah,
both of them. They're so problematic now. No. Yeah.
Anyway. So we'll talk about this private investigator.
Yeah, let's go with him.
A man by the name of Frank Jones in 1999. So the year after Amy went missing, he contacted the Bradleys.
Well, on the foot of someone else who had contacted them too.
Yeah.
So there'd been another witness, another sighting that we hadn't mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
By Judith Marguerite
or something. Yeah.
So she claimed that she was living on Curacao and that she knew that Amy was being held against her will by heavily armed Colombian guards in a housing complex, some sort of compound, and that it was heavily protected by barbed wire and all these things, and that she had seen Amy regularly shopping at the grocery store and things like that in the area. So this was a sighting that they had brought this out to the public.
Was this in Barbados?
No, this was in
Curacao.
Curacao.
Okay.
Yeah. So this had been put out publicly to kind of go, well, this is something we've been told. Has anyone else got any information on this? And that's when Frank Jones contacted them, saying that he knew that was credible and that he basically thought that he could help them out.
So he claimed to be US Army Special Forces.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Bradleys over. He told Ivor that if he had to put Amy on his back and swim her out of there, he would.
Oh, what a hero.
Yep.
Yep.
Initially, he told them he needed $70,000 to get his team together.
I should just say,
rescue.
so this was not long after they had announced, and this came from Ron's boss as well, that he put up $250,000 as a reward for the fact that Amy being found alive and returned to them. There was also another $25,000, I think it was, put up by the government.
Yeah.
So there's this wad of money.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Bradleys initially were able to raise this $70,000. They sold a car. They used their life savings. They've sent this money to this Frank Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was surveilling this house that Amy was supposedly in, and that he'd had multiple sightings of her. He'd seen her multiple times. He had 2 guys on it, and then it came to a point, this was going on for months.
Yeah.
He was having a nice little holiday in Curacao while he was doing this and coordinating this.
It got to a point where he was actually, he had Ron and Brad Bradley flew in onto another island, waiting on standby because he was going to get her out.
Actually, they were in Florida.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
Florida. But they were close by, so that they could literally come in and swoop in and collect Amy. So he was getting them out. So they were on call.
Yep, and even Ivor went to Florida. They were there for a week. She did.
Waiting for the phone call.
I think she said she left the room twice for minutes because she was waiting for this phone call.
Yeah.
So what led to that point was he said, right, it's time. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
I need another $120,000 to execute my plan to get Amy out of there.
Yeah.
And they said to him at the time, can you give us proof? We need proof that Amy is alive, that you've found her.
Yep,
because, I mean, okay, they've already given him $70,000, but they're like, 120, that's a lot of money. I mean, $70,000 is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, you would do anything if your child was missing.
Totally.
So he sends them a photo of Amy, I'm doing that in inverted commas, from behind.
Yeah, with a big, broad brim hat on, so you really couldn't see her face.
Yep.
There was the tattoo was on the
visible.
back of her shoulder. It was from behind.
Yep.
Sitting on a beach.
Yep.
Next to her was a man.
With long blonde hair.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't really understand that detail. But anyway, so they're like, oh my God, that's Amy. Oh my God, yep, that's her tattoo.
It's totally her.
Absolutely her. They then get gifted the money from Ron and Iva's boss, from the president of the insurance company, because they didn't have any more money. They'd already given things across.
No, they were using the National Missing Children's Organisation.
Oh, sorry. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. And I believe, did Brad set up a GoFundMe
GoFundMe, I
at this
believe,
point
eventually.
as well?
Yeah.
So, okay, so they've been able to get this money together. They've sent it across. They're waiting in this hotel room in Florida for 7 days, and another man rings. This man says to them, I've been working with Frank Jones, and I actually can't do this anymore. I'm so sorry, but we don't have Amy.
I've been watching that house, and it's
months.
a normal family.
Yep.
Nothing suspicious about it.
Yep.
Amy's not there.
And what he also tells them is that photo is actually a photo they created. So they had the tattoo made, like a stencil of the tattoo made so that they could, like, I don't know.
Like a transfer made.
Yeah,
They had a transfer made.
Transfer.
And put on a random woman.
Yep.
And that's how they made up that photo. To convince them that they had Amy.
It's so sad.
Awful.
It's
So they
so fucking
ended up
sad.
giving Frank Jones like $210,000.
Yep.
They did end up, charging him. So in February 2002, he was prosecuted. And he was charged with frauding the Bradleys of $24,444, and the National Missing Children's Organisation of $186,416.
Yep.
He pled guilty, and he went to jail for 5 years.
Yep.
So I don't know if they got that money back or not, but because he drank most of it, I think. So I'm not sure how much of it actually.
Living it up in Curacao.
Yeah, and on their dime.
What
an absolute fucking sack of shit. Do that to a family who, I mean, the amount of times you hear of that sort of stuff, like people like who are tragically trying to find someone and someone else takes them for a ride.
It's
going all the way back to like the Beaumont children, kind of stuff of like that. Similar sorts of attitudes of people just taking advantage of their grief and situation.
It's
fucked.
It's so fucked up.
Oh, ugh.
It's absolutely so fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, just really quickly as well, do you want to talk a little bit about, I guess, this was just a note that I made when I was listening to something.
Yeah.
That, now, I'm not saying this happened on this cruise ship because I couldn't find any evidence of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of cruise ships make their employees sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, so that they are actually not allowed to talk about anything that happened on board. And what the Bradleys and the FBI are worried about, or I guess there's concern that maybe in fact, I'm sure somebody on that ship knows something.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that they'd signed a non-disclosure, and the threat of that was like significant financial, what am I calling it? Like significant financial detriment to them. They would have to pay a massive amount of money if they disclosed
they got
anything.
their lawyers
They're
involved
locked
very
down,
quickly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's prevented information from coming to the fore.
I think you find in all of this, there's lots of people seeing sightings of Amy and all these things that are coming forward. And you hear of lots of passengers, on the ship with information as to who they saw Amy mingling with.
No crew.
The crew, I can guarantee you the crew saw more than anyone else.
No
crew have come forward going, we invited Amy to come for drinks, or we saw Amy doing this and we saw Amy talking. You don't hear of any crew doing that. There was the one guy on the doco, what was he?
He was like the guest relations officer, I don't know.
But he was
a
bit of a character.
Yeah, a bit of a character.
He's like the only one, and really he didn't give much, to be honest. He didn't give much information, I found. He was a bit of a filler.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And I think that was done very carefully for that reason.
Yeah.
So I think you're right in terms of the NDA, and I wonder what kind of, it's already been nearly, not far off of 30 years ago, that there's got to be a statute of limitations.
Apparently there is, and apparently it's 25 years, depending on the jurisdiction
Yeah.
in which it's.
So
it
I
falls,
wonder
so-
whether we may hear something come out of people at some point. I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I guess before we get into our theories, I think just worth noting that Amy's family did end up getting her declared deceased. So they did that mainly because of the fact that they wanted to sue Royal Caribbean for their lack of their negligence and for wrongful death, basically, and they can't do that unless they've got her declared dead. So, so they did do that, and there was an outcome of that very recently that they lost that. Now they are appealing it, so that's still going to play out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the reason why it was that they lost it, I found very interesting. So the judge did say a lot of things, particularly that he felt that they perjured themselves, the Bradleys, and that they were really forcing this issue of that there is only one theory here, and that is that she was kidnapped, and that therefore the ship should be held accountable, when the judge very much felt from the evidence that was really available that there were many possibilities still that were not shut down, like as in that that was not the only viable possibility, and therefore they didn't have a case. Which I think that's fair.
I agree.
Yeah, I really think that that's fair at that point until we can get actual sightings or actual corroboration of various aspects of things. Anything could have happened.
Yeah. Tell me what you think.
Okay. I think it ties into the fact of where she was at mentally a little bit. I think she was looking for some drugs. I don't think she was a drinker. I think that though somebody suggesting something else would have been potentially enticing. And I think that's why she was there with Yellow at 6 a.m. I think he had said to her, come back and see me later because I've got to go back to my room now. Come back and see me in the morning and I'll hook you up with someone who can get you there. Whatever that is, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say what kind of drug,
Is it relevant? Not really.
Not really. Could be anything. So I think that was where they were meeting and he was like, yeah, I'll go sort this out. And that's where he's gone off and left her there having a drink while he does something. Now, what happens after that, I believe either they snuck her off the boat to meet with a dealer or something, and whether she took that drug there and then had a dreadful reaction and died, or whether they did then take advantage of her, rape her, awful things, whatever, killed her. I don't know. But I think that that's where something's gone wrong. Whether they put her in something to get her off the ship and she suffocated, I don't know. I think something has gone awry in that scenario of meeting up with someone for drugs.
So do you think the meeting took place on the ship or off the ship?
I feel like off the ship.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So I have a very, very similar theory.
Yeah.
I think she was looking for something.
Yeah.
Drugs, a different life. I don't think she intended to disappear.
No.
Forever.
No, that's what I don't think that was her intention. No. I think she was just looking for
coping mechanism.
I need something and someone was offering something.
I think there's a lot to be said about the controlling nature of her family. I think there's weight there.
Yeah.
I think the letter that Ron wrote to her girlfriend, I think that would have weighed very heavily on her.
I mean, well, that happened
a long
time prior.
I know,
but I think that
established
the vibe of it.
That's right. Established a baseline of what her family thought and how strongly they thought it.
Especially if she was going home to, I want to be with Molly.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get rid of this Tom situation.
That's
right. If that, was something that was really playing on her mind.
Yeah.
I think there was just a lot on her mind. And so someone offering up hey, look, do you want to get some weed? Or like something that's, that she was willing to try something that maybe she hadn't ever tried before. Maybe I'm not saying that she was a drug user, by doing this by any means.
No.
Because I think she really would be, she sounds like a true athlete and all
Yes.
those sorts of things. But I think in the mental state she was in, the fact she didn't really want to be there, you know, like really like.
As a form of escapism, maybe looking for something
Looking
to
for
kind
something
of take
else. I think that's what she's
mind
gone
away
looking
from it
for.
all. Yep.
And some people have offered some things up and I think it's gone to shit.
Yeah.
And then
how it's gone to shit is really hard to know.
Yeah.
I feel like she probably did not exit the ship through the gangway.
No, I don't think that I think she's gone through crew. You know, I think that's where
through the other side and onto a boat or something. I think that's very much more likely.
It literally could have been someone meeting them, you know, delivering, as we were saying, like, you know, produce, right? Another kind of produce. You know, and so probably someone coming to the ship bringing something that it could have been as simple as literally on the dock that they were meeting somebody.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going off into cure. So that's where I don't think she was like, oh, if I'm going to go all the way into like this bar in there, I'll tell my parents where I'm going. I think she was like, oh, I'm going to be back by 6:15 after this, like kind of stuff. I'm just going to the dock here. I'm not actually exiting the boat kind of stuff.
Yep.
I don't think she saw it that way. I really don't think she had any intention of, disappearing, but she went to go and get that and things have turned to shit. Whether the fact that she arrived and this yellow bloke's, you know, gone, you know, like, I don't know, oh, my friend here wanted to get some and he's like, why the hell did you bring her? Like now she knows who I am, or I don't know. Something's just not gone how it should have.
Yeah.
And they've had to then get rid of her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's alive.
I don't think she is either.
That's awful to say
I
for
feel
a
so
family.
sad when you see Iva interviewed and she's like, you know, she has children because, you know, if she's been sex trafficked, the chances are she, you know, will have fallen pregnant. Maybe she's got children and that's what's keeping her from getting in contact with
that
us.
goes back to another comment that was made by the family of that she wouldn't, and the words that Brad used, I actually was like,
I know exactly what you're going to say.
now what was the word that I kind of freaked out at? It was like, she won't be the supplier of grandchildren. I'm sorry. What? You can be in a lesbian relationship and have children for one thing, but that language really got me.
I thought so too.
And he used it. He repeated it in the interview.
It's so problematic.
Oh, I was like, whoa, we are not females and suppliers.
But do you see also what I mean? Like, the family never accepted her.
Nope.
They claim to be close, but then, you know, if that's your mentality and you're saying that on camera.
Yeah. You can be a straight woman and not want children.
Hey,
like,
how
there's
about
so
that?
many things here that are wrong with that statement. I just found it, that was, no, sorry, you need to really rethink that, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't have a lot to add to what you've said. I think what you've said is probably right.
It's taken me a long time to come to that.
I know.
Yeah.
But I can also see, I don't think she committed suicide in that I don't think she's jumped overboard. I don't, the sex trafficking thing I can come at. But how is it that nearly 30 years later we don't know anything? Like, I just think in this day and age, that's the other thing that we didn't mention actually, is they set up a website for Amy, the family did, and they noticed these hits that were coming, I think it was from Barbados, wasn't it? From an IP address in Barbados.
Yes.
And they noted that this particular IP address would always ping on significant days to the family. So on Ron or Iva's or Brad's birthday, on Amy's birthday, on Christmas. And it was enough of a coincidence to make them think, oh my God, maybe this is Amy just checking in, seeing what else is going on, seeing what activity there is. Again, nothing's been corroborated. It's not like the FBI have been able to trace where that IP address is coming from or anything like that. So, you know, I just think there's so much hope for this family. I don't know. I don't know. My gut feeling is that she's not alive.
I feel like if she was alive,
she would have made contact by now.
I think the family have done an incredible job at getting out, you know, this information about a disappearance that I just feel, and that's where I'll go back to that whole, I don't think that she would have been chosen to be sex trafficked for this reason, that she was too identifiable, too loved and too wanted by her family, that she would have been found by now because of that. I really honestly think if she was out there doing that, one of these, I just think these people who think they have seen her want to have seen her.
Yeah. Oh, this is another thing we didn't talk about is Brad thought when they went back to Curacao a month after her disappearance, he thought he heard her call out to him in a passing car.
Yeah.
And they followed that passing car, and when they got to the end of it, it was a man alone in his van. But I've listened to podcasts of other people who have missing family members, and they say they hear them everywhere. They see them everywhere. You have to do a double take before you're like, oh, no, that's not my missing loved one. So you hear, I think that's not really, worth the weight of anything. But it goes to the distress of the family and just the impact of all of this.
There's also the fact that there was a number of sightings of Amy in a particular area, and I think it was Barbados, could have been Curacao. And they went there to follow it up, and they actually found this woman that was being sighted constantly. And it was just a doppelganger, basically. She did look like Amy, but
very similar.
She was not American. She had another accent altogether. So as soon as she spoke, anyone would have known that she wasn't Amy. But yeah, so I think, like a lot of people are, this is the thing, if you don't know someone, I really question if you've never met that person in your life and you see someone on a TV show going, oh, this person's missing, and you go, oh my God, that's the person I saw 3 months ago.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. I kind of call bullshit.
So do I.
I think you kind of go, oh my God, because you want it to be. You want to be you want to be the person. I'm not saying this as an egocentric, hurtful thing, but to be the person who found that person, to be like, oh my God, I made the connections. I'm going to be able to solve this. You want to do that for someone.
Of course.
And I don't know. I don't put a whole lot of weight. I'm not saying they didn't see her and it never happened.
Yeah.
But I think there can't be too much weight put on them when they're not being able to be corroborated and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. Now the other little bit of information, I find this really interesting, is that a fragment of jawbone was found washed up. I want to say, was that Curacao? Was it?
Yes, it was Curacao.
Yeah. So literally in that area, a jawbone washed up on shore. And at the time it was tested for, they actually thought it was Natalie Holloway. It was tested for that and was proven to not be Natalie Holloway. Now that jawbone has never been tested for DNA for a match with Amy.
Why?
I don't understand why. If I was the family,
you'd be pushing for
that. To rule it out and just be like, to finally get some sort of closure. Not that it would give you all the answers. No, it would not at all. But at least you'd know that we need to stop looking. But surely you're pushing forward to try and get a DNA and get
I don't understand why that hasn't progressed. How hard is it to run her DNA against it?
I really don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I find that interesting because it hasn't been matched to anybody else either.
No.
And it has been tested against others.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe watch this space. I don't know.
I feel like that's been sitting around for too long and hasn't been done yet.
I don't get it. I don't understand that piece of evidence actually.
Yeah. But I think that would, still in the theory that I'll put forward, that the possibility that someone did then throw her, in the sea
into the water somewhere.
Or whatever, still fits.
Yep, agreed.
So, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, just to end on, I was like,
this.
okay, so much shit happens. Well, sorry. You look at a cruise and you think it's all happy, fun, great. I'm like, I just wonder.
Not in your fuckle formal wear, but anyway.
For those who love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just wonder how many things like this happen on cruise ships, right?
Yeah.
Now, I found so much. I'm just going to give you incidents that have happened on the Rhapsody of the Seas.
Oh no, don't.
Okay.
I don't want to go cruising and really don't. After researching this in general, I was like,
no.
I'm out. No.
Oh, well, yep.
Oh, just on one boat. Yay.
New Year's. So this is just incidences on the Rhapsody of the Seas. New Year's Day 2010, a 15-year-old American passenger was raped by a crew member. She had been seasick during the Australia-New Zealand round trip and cruise and was resting alone in a cabin when a man wearing a bartender's uniform entered and raped her. December 2013, an Australian passenger fell overboard during a trip to New Caledonia. An extensive search was made and his body was found.
Mm-hmm.
April 2016, the boat was hit by a rogue wave in Santorini.
Hang on. A rogue wave?
Apparently.
A rogue wave.
A rogue wave. It struck at 4 a.m. It broke windows of 6 passenger cabins and let in so much water that it flooded staterooms on decks 2 and 3.
Yeah, like that's not giving you Titanic feels.
No, right? September 19th, 2016, the ship severely listed, so was tilted to the side because of strong winds that were blowing against it, and they couldn't quite get the ship to face into the wind.
Oh, right.
Unfortunately, the Viking lounge was destroyed during that.
Oh, as it should be.
Nobody was injured during that one.
Okay.
September 2019, a crew member died going overboard while the ship was docked in Dubrovnik under suspicious circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So Royal Caribbean said the 35-year-old waiter committed suicide, but his family in India vehemently denied
that.
Yeah,
right.
In October 2023, the US State Department actually used the Rhapsody of the Seas to evacuate US citizens and their families from Israel after the outbreak of the Gaza war. That's just an interesting little tidbit.
At least it's something good. Yeah.
Something good happened. In September 2025, so a month or two ago.
This boat's still floating around.
Yep, still going. A passenger jumped overboard as the ship docked in Puerto Rico because he was facing a bill of $16,000 in the onboard casino. And he also brought in more than $15,000 cash onto the ship, which was prohibited. I think $10,000 was the limit.
Right.
And he was later arrested. So he survived jumping from the second deck of the ship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the Rhapsody of the Seas, like notable mentions.
Oh, so much. Yeah.
A lot of people die on cruise ships.
Basically, if you've got a cruise planned,
please be careful.
Yeah. Especially
go
the
in
crew.
pairs. Go in pairs. Don't go anywhere alone.
Don't light up a room.
Totally. All right. This is a long one.
Oh my God, it is too. Freak. Well, we just topped our longest episode, I think.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're welcome,
There you go.
people.
Bit of a bumper. Let us know on the socials. DM us. Let us know what you think. Comment on the posts that Meg does on like Instagram, Facebook. Let us know what your theories are. We're really, really curious to see.
Definitely, because I mean, there's so many.
And there's so much information out there. I'm sure there are things we haven't covered today. Let us know what you think. Next week, we're bringing you the Matthew Levison case. This one touches me. I feel like every time I think of Matthew Levison, I think of his dad. All right, so stay tuned next week for that one. Thank you for joining us again.
Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.